categories. The Cadillac safety car, pace car as it is now, safety car if we see it again, is clearing off. The lights are out and the white CTSV heads into the pit lane as we wait now for Ricky Taylor and Misha Goldberg in the black number 10 Cadillac and the 85 Oregon to come round. The bright yellow car on the outside might get the better run to the first corner, but only if it can outdrag the big 6.2 litres, which I don't think it will do. No, Ricky Taylor drops in to turn number 1, that diving right-hander, and gets away from pole position. Side-by-side action, the 38 and the 26, James French and Garrett Grist on it straight away at the head of the field, and Grist might be just nicking the lead away there in the PC category. Further ahead, the number 90 of Mark Goosens and Christian Fittipaldi having a bit of a battle there, and it looks like the Goose may have just got the better of that one. No, he's had to drop back, and the two Masters are right in behind him as well. Fantastic stuff early on as the 52 car it is that's dropping down the field just a little bit. The Ligier in 10th position at the moment, but at the head of the field, Ricky Taylor and Misha Goldberg. Clean start, and those two lead the field from Scott Sharp in 3rd.
Yeah, really good start there, nice clean start, very aggressive getaway there by Garrett Grist, and kind of a 26 from Grimsby, Ontario, so he's one of the many guys to cheer for in this race if you're a local fan here. And Garrett looking to make his opportunities, his first drive in this car this season, looking to take full advantage of it.
70% full throttle for the prototypes around the lap, according to our friends at Mazda. This is a quick circuit, it's an unforgiving circuit, and these early laps could be absolutely crucial in all of the 3 classes. In GTLM, the 2 BMWs have got to the front, first and second, 25 and 24 from the 911 and 912, then the 2 Fords, then the 2 Corvettes. So it is Noah's Ark formation, BMW, Porsche, Ford and Corvette for the first 8 positions of that field, and they are separated by nothing at all as they head round in team formation. 25, 24, 911, 912, 66, 67 and 3 and 4. That's how they stand in GTLM. Sage Karam holds on to the lead in GT Daytona from Andrew Davies in the Audi number 57 in 2nd, and Jeff Siegel in the 86 Acura in 3rd position.
Yeah, no change out the front in GTD, but a lot of shuffling around in GTLM now. As you say, the BMWs are both making strides there toward the front. A great effort by those two. The 2 Fords changing positions as well on that opening lap. A great start there by number 55, Jonathan Bomarito, to get ahead of Johannes van Overbeek in the Nissan. So Ricky Taylor, he's got an advantage of about just over a second at the moment, but this is very, very early on, and the race will take a few laps yet to properly settle down.
Yeah, tell the guys in the midfield who are scrapping at the moment, having to have a owl-like neck at the moment to see what's going on around everybody. Ricky Taylor has opened up a 1.1 second lead over Misha Goldberg. The gloss black Konica Minolta DPI VR racing team. So if I call it the gloss black Cadillac, you'll now understand why. 85 in 2nd place is the Orica. That's the Global LMP2 spec car with the Gibson engine. Misha Goldberg, local driver. It's his little one's birthday this weekend, and possibly at the track. Haven't had confirmation of that yet. Scott Sharp in 3rd position in the first of the ESM. In 2nd place is the Tequila Patron Nismo powered Ligiers, and then it's the first of the Mazdas. It's Jonathan Bomarito in the 55. That's the metallic red car, the Soul Red machine.
And situation normal restored in the PC with James French finding his way ahead of Garrett Grist. So Garrett gets the early jump there, but James French in that number 38 team, that team looking to maintain its perfect record this season. They've been on the pole. Well, one race they weren't on the pole, but they won all the other races, set fastest lap in every race, and they've been a dominant force. And that's because everybody does a good job on that team.
Good start from Catherine Legg as well. The 93 Acura, 2 for 2 in the last couple of races, going for the hat-trick in GT Daytona. Moved up to 5th position on the start there. In behind the Lamborghini of Brian Sellers, the black and red number 48 is in 4th. Then Catherine's teammate Jeff Siegel in the 86 in third. Andrew Davis for 57 Stevenson Audi in second, and still leading that Lexus of Sage Karam.
And at the front of the field on the first...
It's not the 90 car again, is it? Mark Goossens, it is. Mark Goossens car with less than 5 minutes down, and the bad luck that has plagued the Visit Florida number 90, the blue car with the pixelated side pods for the last couple of races, is dropping down. The Multimatic chassis has hit problems early on. Now the car is pulled over to driver's right coming out of Moss Corners. He's going to go a lap down when Ricky Taylor comes around this time, which is about now, to go by him. Oh, he's got going. The 90 has got going. It is not under the Mobile 1 sign. So a slow-moving number 90 trying to make its way back around the circuit. It's coming up to turn number 8 now. So was that just the old three-fingered salute then from the Goose? Well, he's gone past pit entrance. He must feel he's got it fixed. Control, Alt, Delete, reboot, refire, and off he goes into the race. He will be one fired-up driver. The Goose is loose again. Ricky Taylor leads, but just by 0.8 of a second. Goikberg keeping me honest at the head of the field and doing the fastest lap last time around, a 1:09.4.
Yeah, and in fact, the last 4 laps, the two leaders have traded fastest laps. The first flying lap of the race was the number 10 car at a 1 minute 9.4. That was a new lap record, by the way. It wasn't 9.8, it was 9.9. That was a new lap record, by the way, in the first flying lap of the race. The old record standing last 2 years ago to Ozzie Negri at a 1:10.2 in 2015. The next lap, it was Goikberg who set fastest lap, then it was Taylor who set fastest lap again, and as you say, last time around, a 1 minute 9.453, new fastest lap record for car number 85, Misha Goikberg.
Down to Shea Adam for a number 90 visitflorida.com update.
One of the worst things you can hear is an electrical gremlin within a car. Goossen saw all the telemetry go down, everything on his dashboard disappeared, and on the pit box they lost complete control of the car, could not even see where it was on track. He did the three-finger salute, the Control Alt Delete, and that seems to have fixed things for now.
That's scary, isn't it? Because if that happens again whilst he's in traffic, that could be dangerous. Let's hope that whatever it is, that the ghost in the machine has been cleared. GT Daytona, Lexus, Audi, Acura, Lamborghini, Acura, Ferrari are your top 6 with Christina Nielsen, championship leader in that 63, along with Alessandro Balzan for Scuderia Corsa. 63 car has not won a race this season, but leading the GT Daytona Championship on consistency and through force of will, it would seem, sometime. And the Goose has come to a halt again, the 90 car, in I think almost the same part of the track, Jeremy. Certainly on the... No, he's further back down the circuit at turn 3. Inside of turn 3, the headlights are flashing, so he's got it going again. He's going to have to bring that one into the pit lane. I'm sure race control will be saying, guys, you got to get that car in and have a proper look at it. No headlights on that car now once he's got it going. I think he may have started on the pit lane speed limiter, which is why they were flashing when he got away. Heads up towards Moss Corner now. Awful, awful start to a race in a season that has been not of what they were expecting or desiring, the number 90 team. Meantime, the battle for the lead going over the skyline down to the dip at the bottom of turn number 2. And they are side by side for a moment. Goikberg was challenging Ricky Taylor, but has to drop into line.
Yeah, and already now amongst the traffic, lap 7 completed on lap 8 right now, and working their way through the tail end of the field in GTD, and that's given Goikberg an opportunity to close up. And how much does this traffic affect them? Well, last lap around was a 1 minute 12.0 for Ricky Taylor. He'd been lapping in the mid 9s before that, so 2.5 seconds lost when he's negotiating that slower traffic.
But that's what we talked about, the keys to the race, Jeremy. Push without risk. No point in damaging the car. He hasn't got another 5.5 hours to get this back as they did at Watkins Glen in the 6 hours, the Salem 6 hours spot. less than a week ago, or just on a week ago. He's got to keep that car underneath him, because Misha Goikberg is so close that any small stutter, he'll be through and into the lead. I think this is really mature driving once again from Ricky Taylor, and Misha Goikberg is driving brilliantly.
Yeah, he absolutely is. I mean, he's certainly not been around the sport. He's been around sport a fair while, but not at this level as much as Ricky Taylor has. And for both of these two now, they've got to be careful. They've got to be incisive. They've got to be calculating at the same time. It's a great aerial shot of this wonderful racetrack.
Drama for the lead GT Daytona car. Sage Karam has some debris on the grille of that car. Not sure if the team have seen it yet, but when it came past us here, there was definitely something on the grille of that car. Now, you do not want, on a track that's this quick, to have something stopping the air getting into your radiators. It's not particularly hot today, but these racing cars run to very finite systems. Their systems running to very close call in terms of the amount of air that they need through them. And not sure if Sage is aware of it either at the moment. We'll keep an eye on it when it come through. Didn't see him that time because he was in traffic. Lots of blue on our timing screen means people are flying, finding some space to get some space. It's a clear rectangle of something or other, Jeremy. It might be a plastic bag or something like that on Sage Karam's grille of the 14 car.
Yeah, strange, but he has at least pulled out, even with that, he's pulled out a substantial advantage of 3 seconds over Andrew Davis, number 57, Stevens Mosport Audi, in a similar gap back to third place, and in third place in GTD at number 86, Acura. He, along with Madison Snow and Brian Sellers, in number 48, Paul Miller racing Lamborghini, and Catherine Legg, who's got ahead of Christina Nielsen at the start. They're running 5th and 6th, the two ladies. But I tell you, last time around for the leads, they won 14.09, so almost 5 seconds away from their ultimate pace. That is as they work their way through the GTD leaders.
And the leader of the race comes by Sage Karam, and it's definitely there on the left-hand side, just on the grille. Something hanging down or being pressed to it with the aero pressure. Such fine margins for these racing cars in terms of airflow. That may be causing a problem. First two have gone by the leader. It's certainly not on the 15. I've had a good look at that. Associate Adam, Continental Tire pit lane reporter. 90.7 around the track, scanner frequency 454, XM201 and Sirius 145. Further afield on IMSA.com, the IMSA app available for all 3 operating systems for your smart device. Go to your app store, search IMSA and get it downloaded. It's absolutely free and there's no in-app purchase required for timing and scoring, onboard cameras and live audio and video, subject to the US blackout for network television.
Tom Long has moved up into 6th place in the second of the Mazdas. That's car number 70. He's found a way past Christian Fittipaldi.
Yeah, that is Fittipaldi down to 7th and Tom Long up to 6th. 10 Cadillac, 85 Oreca, 2 Nissan, top 3 separated by just on 5 seconds. Jonathan Bomarito another half a second further back in the 55, the red Mazda. Then the second of the Nissans, that's the second Tequila Patron car, 22, Johannes van Overbeek. And Shea Adam, I missed Sage coming through that time. Is that piece of plastic or whatever it was still on the front of the 14, the lead with GTD?
No, as he was getting passed by one of the prototypes being left, it flew off of his nose. So now the 14 is clear. They got away with that one.
Yeah, maybe he was able to wiggle it off. So, Jeremy, nice clean start to the race, and Ricky Taylor all of a sudden has pulled the pin the last couple of laps and got out to a 1.5 second lead, 2.5 seconds. But I've got to say, Misha Goikberg is certainly driving the wheels of that 85 car. both of the guys having to be very decisive in traffic. It's Jonathan Bomarito, the man most likely at the moment. He's putting Scott Sharp under pressure for third position overall.
Indeed so, and a clear lap on that last time around for the two leaders, almost identical lap times, 1 minute 9.8, so back to their pace. Now though, they're going to have to work their past the GTLM cars. They've already gone past all the GTD cars, and still Sage Karam leads comfortably there. Over in second place, Andrew Davis, but the GTLM cars, they'll be a little bit more tricky. And there's a number 90 car stopped again at the exit of turn 5. What a disaster. I just can't believe the amount of bad luck that team has had this season.
No luck other than bad luck, Jeremy. It's been an absolutely massively character building season for that number 90 team, for which Reed, they'll be getting a bit sick now and a bit frustrated. In Prototype Challenge, James French now has pulled out almost 10 seconds on Garrett Grace, but Garrett put his best lap of the racing last time around. GTLM still, BMW, Porsche, Ford, Chevy. 25, 24, 9, 11, 9, 12, 66, 67, 3 and 4.
That number 90 car's got going again, by the way, and it's up to speed when it's running.
Yes, exactly.
He's keeping the darn thing running. So frustrating.
Yes, I think he's got to bring that car in shortly, just for them to maybe if they plug a computer in and flash the ECU or something. I'm just saying words I've heard. Right? I have no idea what that actually means, but I think something needs to be done.
Yeah, what you don't want that doing, car, is cutting out, when you've got somebody right hot on your heels, and you risk running into the back of you. So that is the danger for that car.
Yeah, when you've got a track that's 70% full throttle for the prototypes, everybody knows where you're full throttle, and if all of a sudden you're not, the prototypes, you don't have to brake to slow down on these cars. The aerodynamic downforce slows them down very quickly when you lift off the accelerator pedal, the throttle pedal, and it could catch people out. So I expect to see that blue number 90 into the pit lane shortly. We are on lap number 15. Yeah, he's in the pit lane now. Shea Adam is down at Visit Florida's pit.
With the best pit board in the business, in the shape of the great state of Florida, Mark Goossens brings the car in. You hear that? No engine noise coming from the 90 as it rolls to a stop. They are going to change to 4 new Continental tires. They are refueling as well, but I would be shocked if the passenger side door is not opened up and a computer is plugged in. Still doing the tire change. The fueling is done because it didn't need that much fuel. No computer has been plugged in as of yet. They're done with the tire change. Now the door goes open. Yep, they are changing out. I just saw the symbol was given, the cut across the road. They were telling him to completely shut off the car. They might be changing out one of the data sticks in the passenger side compartment of the car. Mechanic is still buried in there as everybody else has now climbed back over the wall. Mark is gesticulating a lot with his right hand. Left hand is still firmly on the wheel so that he can communicate with the team. And the mechanic who had stuffed himself on the right side of the car is now starting to extract himself again, but the team is not satisfied with the work that has been going on. No, this might be day over for the 90 car. Now they're cleaning the windshield. Now that I've said that, they're taking their time. They just want to finish, I think, at this point, John.
Track temperature 103 degrees Fahrenheit, 69 degrees Fahrenheit in the air, according to the official numbers at the moment. That's a big disparity there, which is interesting how the track is holding the temperature. It's a pleasant afternoon as we are trackside with IMSA Radio Live from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, XM201, Sirius 145, IMSA.com and the IMSA app, as well as IMSA TV, all together as we say hello to the biggest sports car racing audience in the world. IMSA Radio, part of the Radio Show Limited network, the world's motorsport station. 2 hours, 21 minutes still to go. at IMSA Radio if you want to get in touch with us here in the studio. And Ricky Taylor now just eases away to a 3.5 second lead. The battles in GT Le Mans continue with BMW first and second, Porsche third and fourth, then the 2 Fords and the 2 Chevys. Sage Karam still leading by about 2 seconds now in the number 14 Lexus from Andrew Davies. He's got a decent gap back to Jeff Siegel, but behind Jeff Siegel in the 86 Acura, Brian Sellers, Catherine Legg, both battling. So those 3 cars, 86, 48 and 93, all battling for third place in GT Daytona. Coming to the end of the lap now.
They are, and the number 57 Audi, by the way, closing a little bit now on stage count. The gap between those two, 2.3 seconds last time, and that's cut down from about 3.5 not so long ago. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, I think just the greater experience of Ricky Taylor of leading the race and running right up front has enabled him to edge out a little bit over Misha Goikhberg. But now, as they're working their way through traffic again, Misha's able to close right back up. He's made up almost a couple of seconds on Ricky on that last lap. So this is, as we talked about earlier on, it's all about the concentration levels required as Misha Goikhberg is right on the heels of Ricky Taylor as they head over to the hill in turn 2.
This is the battle for the lead. Bit of clear circuit ahead, and as soon as there's clear circuit, the 6.2 litre V8 stretches its legs and uses its torque. Misha Goikhberg having to try and keep the power on through the corners, take a little bit more corner speed than the black Cadillac ahead of him.
Yeah, on that last lap, Ricky Taylor's lap time of 1:15.029. He'd been lapping in the high 9s when he's got clear track, so over 5 seconds lost on that last lap. And that's what this race is all about, particularly here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, because you are going to get held up by slower traffic at some stage, and the key is not to get ruffled by it.
Proving that IMSA Radio reaches right around the motorsport world. Hello to the Red Bull Ring Formula One press room. I'm Bradshaw, tuned in there. Exciting Formula One event just finished, just in time for the main event of the afternoon here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. I say that with a smile on my face. Annie, nice to know you're tuned in. Safe home for you and the rest of the Formula One press pack. 10, 85 and 2 at the top of the field, and it's that battle between the 10 and the 85, Cadillac and the Oreca. Fantastic to watch. But these battles in the GT categories are just as important for championship points. No move in GTLM. BMW, it's the pair of BMWs which are now, 3 seconds apart actually. Bill Oberlin for Martin Tomczyk, 25 from 24. And then they've got a little gap back to the Porsches, who've got a gap between themselves, then a long gap back to the Chip Ganassi racing cars, 66 and 67. But they are being closed in on by Jan Magnussen and Ollie Gavin. It was down to half a second, it's just gone out to about 3/4 of a second. But we're going to have 4 GT Le Mans cars battling together from Ford, the blue oval and the bow tie. Theirs is a long-held rivalry and competition. In the pit lane, Shea Adam with this Continental Tire pit lane update.
The 90 just left the pit lane, John. Still Mark Goossens behind the wheel. And they did something that shows you a sign of the times. They took out a stick from the passenger compartment of the car, a USB, plugged it right into their lead engineer's computer, and that diagnosed what was going on at least a little bit better. They did not even plug the car in using the cables that they have dedicated on the pit wall. It was a problem that they wanted to diagnose a little bit quicker than that.
Yeah, either that or they were changing the MP3 for Goose to listen to as he was driving around. Might have had the wrong playlist. That's the only thing I can think of. 2 hours and 16.5 minutes to go, and the leaders are together again as they head out onto the Andretti Straight, which is actually a curving part of the track. It also has 3 distinct rises, including quite a steep one just before the turn into the right-hander at turn 8 at the end of that straight. And Goikhberg again is looming large and very yellow indeed in the mirrors of Ricky Taylor's number 10 Konica Minolta racing car.
He is, isn't he? Goikhberg is not letting Taylor get away. It's a great drive by Misha. He's staying exactly where he needs to be in the early part of this race. 20 laps now completed. Those two pulled away now to around about 6 seconds over the third place car of Scott Sharp, who continues. It's his turn now to work his way through a whole bunch of traffic. Jonathan Bomarito is right behind him as well, so battles for first and second and third and fourth. And it's all about concentration here now at this stage in the game for these guys. They're a little bit more than halfway through their stint. No, they're well over halfway through the stint, almost 3/4 of a stint done now. So you want to make sure, from Goldberg's point of view, he wants to be as close as he can to the race leader when he comes in for his first pit stop.
And let's not forget, Jeremy, all of these cars are starting the race on the tyres with which they qualified on Saturday. So they've got a bit of work in them before they went back on the cars. And crucially, that means the teams had to put a little bit of a finger in the air in terms of which version of the Continental tyres in the prototype classes and the GT Daytona, or the Michelins in GTLM, which version of those slick tyres that they used in terms of where they thought the temperature would be right now. It was a little bit colder than we'd seen earlier in the week on Saturday, but we have had some nice clear blue skies with that temperature over 100 degrees Fahrenheit on the track, but it's clouded over a little bit now, and what we will keep an eye on is how quickly that track cools down, which might just mean that they have to make a change when they come for their first pit stop. Sage Karam doing a great job at the head of GT Daytona, as the battles at the front of the field are now for third position, with Scott Sharp seeing that very svelte and swooping dark red metallic number 55. That means it's the Mazda of Jonathan Bomarito. Very different look to the front end of that racing car. And just a few moments ago, very close indeed, there was a touch between the 93 of Catherine Legg coming out of turn number 1. Catherine going out over the curb on the left-hand side, and as she drifted back to take her line through turn number 2, Scott Sharp squeezing through the gap, and a quite considerable nudge right front of the GT car, being the Acura, to left rear of Scott Sharp's prototype. And that would have been deja vu for Scott there, because a week ago a similar contact, albeit on the other side of a GT car, took Scott Sharp out of the lead of the race at the Salem 6 Hours of the Glen.
Yeah, good point. The leaders, by the way, they've got clear traffic. They're going to be enjoying this for the next lap or 2 or perhaps even 3 before they catch up with the next car. And Ricky Taylor is now laying down some quick laps. He knows that the pit stops are coming up not too long away. We've gone, how far into the race are we? We are 20, what's my math, 28 minutes into the race, about another 10 minutes or so before we have the first pit stops.
10 minutes being somewhere in the region of 8 to 9 laps. 9 laps really, isn't it, at 70 seconds a lap. And the leaders lapping in under 70 seconds. Now they've cleared that traffic.
Yeah, they're going to have 2 or 3 laps here where they can really put the hammer down, and down into the 9s, both of them on last lap. 109.872 for Ricky Taylor. That's within a couple of tenths of his fastest lap of the race. Misha Goikhberger 109.9 on that last lap as well. But heavy traffic turn 10 with the 2 Corvettes trying to find a way past the number 28 Allegra Motorsports GTD Porsche.
Sirius 145 XM201. That has been the Wimbledon channel all week, but it's a rest day at the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club at the championships today. So we've got the 201 channel on Sirius. Hello to Lee Driggers, who's tuned in there. Thanks for your support as ever. Still those 2 BMWs at the head of the field, but now Dirk Werner and Lawrence Van Tour, working through traffic, are beginning to close on the 2 BMW M6 GTLMs at the head of the field, whilst further back the other 2 pair of manufacturer GT cars, the Fords and the Chevys, they're together as well, within traffic coming onto the Andretti straight now. And Joy Han, the first of that quartet, is trying to drag past the number 15, being the Lexus of Robert Allon. It wasn't easy, even for that very low, very svelte, prototype-esque Ford GT to get by the Lexus. These GT cars are quick in a straight line, Jeremy.
Yeah, they certainly are quick in a straight line, and they make things very, very difficult for the quicker cars to get past. All of a sudden, Ricky Taylor's managed to eke out quite an advantage now. It's over 3 seconds from first to second, as he's beginning to encounter some traffic once again.
Well, we'll be starting to think about those pit stops now at the head of the field. No penalties in the pits. You've got to be clean here with just 2-3 pit stops for the classes. It'll be 3 for the head of the field, possibly 2 for the GT Daytonas. Just depends if they get a little bit of help. I'm not sure if Stephen Simpson can hear me. He'll be watching Misha Goikberg now 1.6 seconds behind the leader, number 10. Stephen, a very proud Springbok South African, and tell him that England have won the first test at Lords. South Africa all out for 119, chasing a little over 300.
Okay.
Moeen Ali 6 wickets on a 4th day pitch that deteriorated rapidly, saw England lose 7 wickets for 43 earlier in the day, and Moeen Ali spinning the Springboks out for just over 100. First blood to England in the Test match summer.
Excellent.
That will mean a lot to Jeremy Shaw, standing next to me, and probably not what Stephen needs to hear right now. I apologise to JDC Miller Motorsport.
Yeah, don't distract him before he gets in the car. When I was talking about Misha Goikberg falling back a little bit from Ricky Taylor, scratch that, because on that last lap Ricky Taylor got some traffic, which Misha Goikberg is working his way through now as well. The gap between the front two, just 1.2 seconds as it came across the line to complete lap 26. And the Lexus lead is about 2 seconds now over Andrew Davis, doing a super job there to hold on in that second position. And the gap from him back to the 3rd place car of Jeff Siegel is about 6.5 seconds.
Old style circuit, 21st century endurance racing. Canadian Tire Motorsport Park with the Mobil 1 Sportscar Grand Prix. IMSA racing at its absolute zenith here this weekend. Magic stuff in all of the classes. And Dirk Werner just trying to put some pressure on the 2 BMWs in the leading Porsche at the moment. Was closing in, but has dropped in the traffic back to a couple of seconds further away. It's still just a second or so at the head of the field. Sage Karam, Andrew Davis and Jeff Siegel, 7 seconds between them. But from Jeff Siegel back to Catherine Legg, which includes Brian Sellers in the middle of them, that's 86 Acura, 48 Lamborghini and 93 Acura. Just 2.5 seconds, and then 8 seconds back to Christina Nielsen and the Scuderia Corsa Ferrari in 6th position in GT Daytona. Keeping those top 5 honest. This is exactly what the team will be asking her to do. The 63 car leading the championship at the moment. Meantime, Porsche coming past me is the 911 with his team car right in behind, and then it is actually the 63 of Christina Nielsen as the 2nd and the 3rd and 4th place GT LM cars work their way through the GT Daytona battle. Lamborghini of Corey Lewis closing up on Christina Nielsen as we still have over 2 hours and 6 minutes to run.
Change for 3rd position too. Jonathan Bomarito has got past Scott Sharps and number 55 Mazda moving past a Nissan. Didn't see where it happened, but Jonathan Bomarito once again is running super well in this race. They struggled so much during the early part of the weekend at Watkins Glen. They made a big breakthrough in terms of setup.
Second place in GTLM, Martin Tomczyk. Tomczyk in the BMW, number 24, slightly out-fumbled, coming through Moss Corner, going, oh, there's another touch with the Acura. That time it was BMW and Acura, and again it's Catherine Legg drifting over to the right. I wonder if she's got a blind spot on the right-hand side of that car there. Tomczyk was under pressure from Dirk Werner and Lauren Van Tour. They were going through GT Daytona traffic, and at the same time they had the prototypes coming through, and in fact it was Bill Oberlin who got the side swipe and the hip check from the 93 car. The leader in GTLM, Martin Tomczyk, has just got through, and the 90 car's come to a halt again, and that is coming out of Moss Corner again on the back straight just beyond the Mobile 1
pit stop for number 22.
22 is the first of the leaders into the pit lane, and this is our first scheduled pit stop for our Continental Tire pit lane reporter, Shea Adam.
4 new Continental Tires. They still have the stickers on them. A drinks bottle change for Johannes van Overbeek. Will not be a driver change this time through, and a whole lot of fuel going into that number 22 ESM. We also have the number 31 who has made its way onto the pit lane. That is the Whelan Engineering car that won here last year. Of course, last year it was a Corvette. This year it is the Cadillac. Dane Cameron is getting ready to jump into that car. Eric Curran's job is done. Johannes does a beautiful little burnout in the 22 as he leaves his pit box. A nice bit of smoke. Dane Cameron installed within the number 31. They have 4 new tires for that stop as well, and fuel going in. Other than that, it's an empty pit lane just waiting on the 31. Seems a bit early to do their driver change, but Dane Cameron can handle it. He knows this track, he likes it, and he really likes the number 31 Cadillac. Out goes Dane. One-upping Johannes' burnout, I would say.
Shea Adam with that Continental Tire pit lane report, live from trackside with John Heinov and Jeremy Shaw in the IMSA broadcast centre here, overlooking the final corner. So that's the first of the scheduled pit stops. Now we've got to watch the leaders. We've got 2 hours and 4 minutes to go, so that's 36 minutes into this race for that first pit stop for the 22 car and the 31 Cadillac. I would have thought that was a bit early for the Cadillac. I would have expected the 31 car to go a little bit deeper. My only thought, Jeremy, they might have been thinking that there was a full course yellow coming with the 90 car stopped. There was a little bit of a brush as well between first and second coming through turn 9 a lap or two ago in traffic. Misha Goikberg trying to get up the inside as
90 car. Into
the pit lane again comes the 90. It's not got its headlights on when it's running, but it has its headlights flashing when it's on the pit lane speed limiter. Not sure that is a very healthy car. We'll leave Shea to keep an eye on that as the battle for the lead has just gone past us, and the leader is going to be held up into the first corner. It's the PC car number 20, I think, of Don Yount, and it has been disposed of as in comes Scott Sharp. Scott in the Nismo powered Ligier. This one is pulling up in front of Shea Adam.
It looks identical to the stop that they did for the 22, the sister car. They have popped open the door, a new drinks bottle for Scott, no driver change, and 4 sticker Continentals going on, as well as a whole lot of fuel. Down a little bit further, Mark Goosens has just stepped out of the 90. There is no Renger van de Zande getting in the car. That might be day done, unfortunately.
Oh, dear.
There goes Renger. Renger just jumped over the wall. Okay, so he was not expecting to get in this soon, but with all the problems, they're going to install him anyway. 2 goes back out. We are seeing the 85 crew getting ready up on the pit wall. That is the JDC Miller Motorsport car from second place, and not yet seeing the 10 of Wayne Taylor racing up on the wall, but the 5 Mustang sampling car, they are also up on the pit wall.
Thank you, Shea. Another lap completed. My goodness, they do go by quickly here, don't they? And Ricky Taylor already on his 33rd lap, but still only a 3/4 of a second gap back to the 85. Just a little bit of something coming out from the underneath the 85 there. I'm hoping that was just the car bottoming out on the bumps and a bit of the skid block coming out from underneath the middle at the rear of the car, which is where, of course, the skid plank is.
4th place car on pit lane. That's the first of the Mazdas to pit car number 70, along with Christian Fittipaldi in car number 5, also on pit lane.
Shea Adam is on the spot.
Fuel and tires for each. The Mazda has not done a driver change, but the 5 has. Christian Fittipaldi is out. Joao Barbosa has been installed. Mustang sampling car, the most recent prototype race winner. And the Acura has also come onto the pit lane. That is the 86, the one with Uncle Sam on the side. Jeff Siegel is behind the wheel of that one still. He started the race and he continues to go around. Fuel and tires only for the Mazda, and the 55 should be coming in this time by. They have that pit board dangling down as well.
Very, very close on the exit, and the 5 just beats out Tom Long in the 70. Joao Barbosa, that was a race on the pit lane limit, and a fabulous burnout from Joao Barbosa got him ahead of the dark grey number 70 Mazda of Tom Long. 85 in from second position with Shea Adam.
4 new tires, no driver change. Misha is staying behind the wheel as he celebrates the 1-year anniversary of his son's birth, his son's first birthday. And they are doing 4 tires. Cannot see if there are stickers on the ones that they have just put on. And a lot of fuel. As the first of our Fords has come onto the pit lane. That is the 66. So the first of our GTLM contenders is on the pit lane. Joey Hand qualified the car. He was running in 5th before he came into the pit lane. Dirk Mueller will be taking over. There goes Misha. Now, when this car left for the grid for the first lap around, it did a big burnout and almost lost control of the rear end of the car. Just did the same thing, leaving its pit box, very nearly hitting the pit wall of the pit box up ahead, but managed to get back out. Ford pit stop is fuel, tires, and driver. Car comes off of the air jacks. Fueling still going on, though, the longest part of any time. And the leader has come into the pit lane as the number 66 goes out with Dirk Mueller at the helm. The pit board is down for the number 10 Konica Minolta Cadillac DPI VR. That's a breathful to say. Ricky, I believe, will be staying behind the wheel of the car. I do not see Jordan's orange and very distinctive helmet on the pit wall waiting. The car hits its marks. They are doing the left side contact first. And not even a new drinks bottle close for Ricky Taylor in this one, but their tire goes... it kind of flew out into the go fast lane. A mechanic manages to get to it before the number 90 Visit Florida car goes past me now. They have changed the right side tires, just waiting on the fuel. This is a pit stop as perfect as we've come to expect from the number 10 team. Fueling is done. Ricky goes back out.
And no sign of the 85. Here it comes now. That is a big advantage in the pit stop there for Ricky Taylor and the number 10 Konica Minolta team. I said there would be pressure in the pit stops. It was one of our keys to the race, and a much quicker pit stop and in-lap from Ricky Taylor. And that means that the 10 car gets out with an increased lead, and I need to see whether Jonathan Bomarino got out ahead and is in second position. It's going to have been quite close. The 85 car has, no, he is in second place. Scott Sharp in third. Bomarino not as far around the circuit as I thought. The timing screen just taking a moment to catch up there. My apologies. But it's now 9 seconds the gap between Ricky Taylor, the 10 car, and Misha Goldberg in the 85 car in second, Jeremy.
Yeah, much faster pit stop there, certainly for that number 10 car. You know, they're well drilled at running at the front. They know exactly what they need to do. The number 85 car teams, yeah, they're still learning a little bit about that number 85 car. It's not anything like that. Yeah, the comparative budgets, let's put it this way, of those two teams, not even close. But hey, he's still within striking distance. He's well out in second place, Misha Goldberg, and I'm sure he will try the best he can. If he can maintain that position, that'd be great for him at this stage in the race. So,
first set of pit stops for all of the leading prototypes, with now the 10 Cadillac leading by 8.2 seconds from the 85 JDC Motorsport. JDC Miller Motorsport car in second. Now, I'm hearing about someone with an issue on the left front, but didn't quite catch the number. And it's the 5 Cadillac, Joao Barbosa, with a problem on the left front, and he will pit this time around.
Oh, he had lost a position to the number number 5 car had gained a position over number 70 during the pit stops.
Well, he's going to lose that coming in. First of the GT Le Mans runners to come in is from third. It's the 912 Porsche with Shea Adam.
Jimmy Bruni has taken over the 912 Porsche. They did a 4-tire stop and a whole lot of fuel for that number 912. We are also expecting the 4 Corvette to come in very soon. Tommy Milner is standing on the wall. He will take over from Oliver Gavin, as now the 5 crew is back up on the pit wall. So yes, they will be coming in soon as well. And indeed, he does make his way into the pit lane. As he drives past me, I'll see if there's any damage to that left front area, or if maybe it was just a fluke incident. But there's no damage to the car. The tire did look a bit down, though. The 5 comes in, hits its mark, Joao Barbosa. They're going to give it a little bit more fuel, take advantage of the time while they have it. Old tire is already off, new tire is already on. Air jack gets thrown back over the wall so they don't run over the pit equipment, and the 5 is gone. As the 911 comes in, this was our pole sitter. Patrick Pile already leaps off the wall with a grand gesture and runs around to the driver's side door as the 90 is slow on the front straight all the way over against the wall. The 911's pit stop is going on. Renger van der Zande, meanwhile, in the 90 turned the car off and trying to recycle it again. Just across the start-finish line, the yellow flag is waving as Renger is sitting next to me, silent. 911 pit stop is done. I think this might be a full course caution, John. Renger's actually just stopped the car entirely, and you will be able to hear on my mic when he gets it fired back up, but for right now, there is no life in this car.
He's right to the pit wall. The right-hand side of the car is almost touching it. He could not be any further out of harm's way, but he is on the front straight. Now this car, as we've got 2 cars waving very close to them, that was the 33 that was going by there. It was the 5-0, excuse me, the 5-0, one of the AMGs, and it's Cooper McNeil who was there. He's got it going again. Waved yellow flags and still people going past at unabated speed and racing cars around them. There needs to be some slaps on the wrist there for drivers. There's at least 3 waved yellow flags from out of the final corner, and that is just not sensible driving. Martin Tomczyk is the first the BMW's in. I misspoke a moment ago about the GT LM pit stops because, of course, it was the 67 Ford that was first in there, and therefore Ryan Briscoe is the car that is leading, having made its first pit stop. The 911 and 912, I think, have gone behind that. Sorry, the 66 of Dirk Muller was the first one. That's what's confused me. All right, forget what I've just said in the last 20 seconds as that car's come in. So the Porsches have both now been in, one of the BMWs, and now both of the Fords have been in.
Yeah, one of the BMWs, number 25 car, Bill Ogden, a massive lockup as he came into the pit lane. I wonder whether they were trying to bring him, thinking there was going to be a full course caution, made a late call to Billy, threw the car across the road to make that pit entrance, and did get it, well, hopefully he got it.
That was Jonathan Edwards, was it? Or, yeah, it was Jonathan Edwards. Bill Oberlin's still out on the track, I think, Jeremy, yeah.
Tomczyk then,
John
yes.
Edwards has just gone in that car, so it was the 24 car. Martin Tomczyk brought that car in. Oh, 912 is back in the pits. Jimmy Bruni back in the pits. Oh, right rear puncture. Right rear puncture. Devoid of Michelin rubber. The wheel has been taken off. Well, this is very bad luck. It was a left front puncture that cost Jimmy Bruni and Laurent Vantour a week ago a podium position on their first outing together and Jimmy's first outing as a Porsche factory driver. And that was right rear. Now, what I didn't see, because it's on the far side of the pits from us, was whether there's any damage on the right rear, whether that was contact with another vehicle. Shea Adam has the pit stops coming in now. Shea?
I did not see any damage to that portion of the car, John, as he drove back out on track. They did clean out the radiator, though, so it might have been sparked from a little off-course adventure. The 24 came in, the BMW from the lead. Bill Oberlin got out, and Alexander Sims got in.
GT Daytona stop. Sage Karam came in out of the lead. Catherine Leggs has come in after out of 5th position. That will leave Brian Sellers in the 48 Lamborghini with a 12-second gap back to Christina Nielsen going long in that 63 car. She'll be trying to get her drive time in as quickly as possible. That promotes the 73 Porsche, the Park Place car. That's the dark grey and red striped car of Patrick Lindsay, up into 3rd position ahead of Robert Alon, who's yet to make his first pit stop as well, in the 15 Lexus in 4th position.
New fastest lap of the race by Misha Goikhberg in car number.
So
lost 6th gear. Who was that?
6th gear on the number 10 car. A problem at the moment, and some kind of gear issues.
Meanwhile, a new fastest lap of the race by Misha Goikhberg in that car number 85 in 2nd place. He said he's trying to track down Ricky Taylor, and 1 minute 9.254. That's a whole second inside the existing track record. And a magnificent effort by Misha Goikhberg. I mean, his best qualifying lap yesterday was a 108.5. He's within a 3/4 of a second of that.
63. Christina Nielsen comes in from 2nd position. Ricky Taylor now reports that he's got 6th gear back. Just happened to have a spare cog in his back pocket and flicked it into the gearbox. That sounds like an electronics issue rather than a mechanical issue. Fuel, tyres and driver change for Christina Nielsen, who is out of the car. Alessandro Balzan then being installed by the Scuderia Corsa team. Same thing for the 5-0 AMG. So Gunnar Jeanette will take that car out. Andy Lally takes out the 9-3, the second of the Acuras. So Catherine Legg out of that car. So it's all changed with the pit stops now. All of the prototypes at the head of the field have made their pit stops. All of the GT Le Mans cars have made at least one. And Jimmy Bruni, of course, has dropped all the way down to the tail of that field, having to have a second pit stop with that right tyre issue. Misha Goikhberg, a 19.9 in the first sector, has pulled the gap down in the last few laps, which was nearly 10 seconds to under 3 seconds. Marvellous stuff from Misha Goikhberg. He will not drop away from this battle for the lead. Corvettes waiting to come in there, lead the GT LM category, courtesy of the fact that they haven't yet stopped. So they've gone several laps longer than their GT Le Mans competition. And with an hour and 49 minutes to go, this could be important. Start doing the arithmetic, ladies and gentlemen. A 160-minute race, and the Corvettes have run 52 minutes so far.
Yes, so
can they do it on 2 stops?
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. And that's what we talked about in the keys to the race. It's a sprint, but with strategy. And maybe that early Corvette pace, which wasn't quite there, maybe that was strategic as much as it was from the setup of the cars. So now we see a different complexion to the GT Le Mans race. We'll wait till those cars come in for their pit stop. Alexander Sims, by the way, in the leading GT Le Mans car that has stopped, the 25 BMW, just put that car's fastest lap of the race in with a 1:15.0. Still Brian Sellers to pit stop as well for Lamborghini. And Paul Miller Racing in the GTD lead, the GT Daytona class with the GT3 spec cars, of course. He's got a comfy lead now. Back to Patrick Lindsay of 23 seconds. But back to the first car that stopped. That is going to be the Audi of Lawson Aschenbach, the 57 Stevenson car, and that is somewhere in the region of 40 seconds.
Is Brian Sellers on pit lane, the GTD leader?
With, as I say, that 40-second lead back to the first of the cars that has stopped. But again, Jeremy, that's a significant advantage that he has had on his competition. Shea Adam has this Continental Tire pit lane update.
Fuels, tires, and driver change for that number 48 Paul Miller Racing as Brian Sellers gets out, hands over to Madison Snow, and right behind them also is the 73, the Park Place Racing car. Jörg Bergmeister making his return to the series after missing Watkins Glen, and we all missed him there too. He comes around the side of the car to to get in. He's got 5 wins at this circuit, so if anyone can do it, you certainly can. Madison Snow, though, still sitting behind the wheel of the car, waiting. Field Pro goes out. He goes away, easily beats out that number 73 as the 28, the Allegra Motorsports Porsche, makes its way down the pit lane as well. So I think that's all of our GTD contenders that we were waiting for. Daniel Morad is up on the wall. He's ready to get in. Bought his team a bunch of Timbits this morning to celebrate Canadian style. Michael De Quesada jumping out. They are also doing 4 tires and fuel as well as their driver change. Still no sign of those Corvettes coming into the pit lane, though. The crew has been standing on the wall for about 15 laps now, so it's anybody's guess as to when they do come in. They were a bit concerned about the refueling time, so stretching as long as they can, saving as much as they can. That's the Corvette strategy of the day. Fueling is still going on the 28, and they are the only car left on the pit lane. And Daniel Morad has that look of anticipation in his eyes as still fuel going in. Very, very long refueling. Now he's good. He almost runs over his refueler.
Thank you, Shea.
And things getting interesting at the front of the field as well, John. We got the 2 leaders nose to tail now. That gap was 8 seconds after the pit stops. Misha Goldberg has closed that right down. And what's really interesting is directly ahead of those 2 cars on the road is car number 5. That is Joao Barbosa in the car that won last week at Watkins Glen. It's had that extra stop for a puncture, and it's now in danger, in grave danger, of going a lap down. They won't want to do that.
The 15 of Robert Alon in the pit lane. That's a regular stop for that car. It was due one, so Lawson Aschenbach will cycle through to the lead in GT Daytona, and that is genuinely in the lead, that car, the 57 Stevenson Audi. They've already taken a magnificent win with Matt Bell and Robin Liddell in the Continental Tire Sportscar Challenge on Saturday, with the debut, or the maiden victory, excuse me, of the GT4 Camaro. And great run that was from both the guys. I know John Stevenson's not here this weekend. John, I hope you're watching this. You guys did a splendid job yesterday. And the 57 car now leading, genuinely on pace for Stevenson Motorsport.
What's that? Oh, Alon's in the pits, is he?
Yeah.
He's just come in the pits?
Yeah, Alon's just pitted. That's his first time in the pit lane.
No, it's his second time in the pit lane. Because that car led early on with Sage Cat. Oh, not Alon, sorry. No, where's the number 14 car?
Scott Pruitt has been twice in the pit lane.
Yeah,
correct,
so
the 14 car. So that has just changed the pit stop on that. It just said number one alongside it, so I must have caught it just before it came into the pit lane. That's confused me, Jeremy.
Yeah, we need to find out why the number 14 car has been on pit lane, because that was the car that led the early stages of this race. Other than that, it's pretty much the same there, with Aschenbach now taking over lead with an extra stop for the Lexus car number 14. In second place now then is number 86 of Jeff Siegel. That's as it was. Then Brian Searles, now Alessandro Balzan in the Ferrari, having taken over from Christina Nielsen, has managed to sneak past Andy Lally, who's relieved Catherine Legg in the number 93 Audi Acura.
And that Jeff Siegel doing a great job there. Brian Sellers now in third position after the pit stop rounds, stayed in the car. Alessandro Balzan up to fourth position for Scuderia Corsa, just another couple of seconds further back.
Interesting stuff. I'll tell you what's interesting to me too. We talked about Misha Goldberg reducing that deficit to Ricky Taylor to next to nothing. What's also interesting, number 2 car, Scott Sharp, he was only 4 seconds behind Goldberg after the pit stops. He's now 11 seconds behind.
This is
Corvette in the pits.
Yeah, it's Jan Magnussen, and this has been a great run from 3 and 4. We talked about sprinting with strategy, and these guys have gone a huge amount of laps more. And they've now done...
4 stays out too.
That's 58 minutes that they have done, and the 4 car will come in next time around. That means they can do this with just one more stop. Shea Adam is watching the Chevrolet number 3 stop.
Antonio Garcia has 1 win at this racetrack. He is really, really hoping to add to that today. Ian Magnussen walks very calmly back to the pit wall and just sort of casually jumps up on it. They have 4 new Michelin tires going on this Corvette. As the driver change is nearly complete, the tire change is done. Now now the door gets closed, the engine fires up, the fueling's still going on. They are waiting on fuel only. That is the last part of this equation. As Corvette expected it might be this weekend, different fueling restrictor than normal, and they are just waiting on the fuel. Very, very painful. Now goes Antonio back out as the Ford crew is up on the wall anticipating their car coming in.
Misha Goldberg using his local track knowledge brilliantly here. Just half a second behind Ricky Taylor. And this has been a brilliant drive back. Nearly 9 seconds after the pit stop. Has got down to under 4/10 now. And it's every lap now that Goldberg is taking time out of Ricky Taylor at the head of the field.
Has he got past him?
He's gone by. Right in front of us, he's gone by, going in the last corner. And there's a new leader. And it's JDC Miller Motorsport, but he's going to be held up by Joao Barbosa right ahead of him as they go off the top of the rise.
Those two leaders have been chasing Barbosa for the last 4 or 5 laps.
And
so Barbosa is desperate not to go a lap down.
Turn 3. And they're going round one of the Acuras. It's the 93 car of Andy Lally, who stays to driver's right. And that's the side he's on, of course. Catherine Legg with a couple of problems. Cars going the other side. And Barbosa in the 5 car at Moss Corner now with the 2 leaders right in his wheel tracks. And he will not want to go a lap down. This is nothing to do with helping another Cadillac and all about trying to stay on the lead lap of the Mobil 1 Sportscar Grand Prix, coming to you live from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, IMSA Radio, from the trackside here in our broadcast booth. Great pass by Goldberg, opportunist pass, set it up coming through 9 and made it into 10, just as the number 4 Corvette came into the pit lane and held up the leader.
Indeed, that's the point. Held up the leader inadvertently, of course, because they won't want to. They'll want to help a fellow GM brand. But number 4 car peeled off just as Taylor was committed to trying to go around the outside of him at turn 9 to get the inside to turn 10.
And hearing again from our colleagues at TV, thanks to Bubba Clark for keeping me involved, there's a piece of debris on the circuit near the Canadian Tire Bridge, so we'll need to keep an eye for that as well. Fuel, tyres and driver change for the 4. Tommy Milner is already back out on the circuit. So after the round of GT Le Mans pit stops, Alexander Sims leads for the 25 BMW. Up from 2nd place is where he went into the pit. Patrick Pilet up from 3rd to 2nd in the 911 Porsche. Jonathan Edwards in the 24 BMW was leading before the pit stop cycle, now in 3rd position. Dirk Muller up to 4th in the 66 Ford, ahead of his teammate Richard Westbrook, courtesy of an extra stop from Jimmy Bruni for a punctured right rear tyre. And he's now fallen down to 8th position behind Antonio Garcia in the 3 Corvette in 6th and Tommy Milner in the 4 Corvette in 7th. That's how the GT LM class looks. In GT Daytona, Lawson Aschenbach is the leader, and he is currently climbing the hill at the uphill right-hander at turn 3. Jeff Siegel some 12 seconds behind, but he's got 6 seconds in hand over Brian Sellers. But Brian just with a second or so ahead of Alessandro Balzan. 57 Audi, 86 Acura, 48 Lamborghini, and then the 63 bright red and white Scuderia Ferrari, Corsa Ferrari of Alessandro Balzan. And the head of the field, though, this battle is absolutely spellbinding. Misha Goldberg has pulled away to about a second. Now, is their tactics being played out here, Jeremy? The number 10 car still, I mean, they're still running at brilliantly quick pace at 109.6 for Ricky Taylor, but 109.2 for Misha Goldberg, and Steven Simpson still to come in that car.
Yeah, it's an absolutely magnificent job he's doing. He's being super cool and calm through the traffic. He can't find a way past the Barbosa car number 5, which will be frustrating him because he'll want to. This way, right as it is right now, he's going to concentrate directly the car in front of him because he wants to get past him to put him a lap down, and also behind him with Ricky Taylor snapping at his heels. This is great stuff. Brilliant drive there by Goldberg. You wouldn't know this is the first time he'd done this, i.e. dicing for the lead of a major motor race. He's never done that before.
This is brilliant stuff Brilliant stuff. And Ricky Taylor now with the number 4 Chevy Corvette of Tommy Milner between him and the leader as they go on to the back straight. Misha Goikberg, by the way, has not got past Joao Barbosa. Last lap for Barbosa, a 1:10.3. So it won't be long before he starts to actually slow down the progress of the leader.
He is definitely slowing them down, John. There's no question in my mind about that.
Let's go down to the pit lane. 2 stops for the 14 Lexus. Shea Adam has this Continental Tire pit lane update to tell us why.
Well, for both cars, they haven't been extra stops. They've been extra penalties. One of the cars left with pit equipment attached, and one car has had to serve 2 drive-through penalties. One was for speeding, and one was for something that they're not entirely sure about. At least that was the line I was given, so it's something that they're embarrassed about. But yeah, not a stellar day for the Lexus team.
Spinning the tyres whilst on the jacks is what we're hearing.
Yeah, that's frustrating for the team.
Getting on
there's been little mistakes there they've been making this season, but the good news is the car is fast and things are coming their way.
Keys to the race, we said pit pressure, no penalties. Well, that's the guys doing the service, and the driver has their part to play as well. Jeremy, you've got to be good on the in lap, get down to the speed limit, but you've got to execute, and getting it fired up and the wheels spinning before you're on the ground is an absolute no-no.
Yes, it is. And it would have been Scott Pruitt, wouldn't it? Because he's the guy who took over that car. He should know, that's for sure.
So Brian Sellers, 3rd position, just 4 seconds now behind Jeff Siegel. Just beginning to eke away a tiny bit at that 2nd place car. Brian Sellers staying in the car. Madison Snow was over the wall at the pit stop. One or two of you tweeting at IMSA Radio to say, are you sure that Madison didn't get in the car? Well, you were eagle-eyed if you saw that, because Madison was over the wall, but he was just giving Brian Sellers, his teammate, a new drinks bottle. And as he was over the wall, he had to have his helmet, etc. on. And you are allowed to have a driver help a driver, and that does not count as one of your over-the-wall allocation. Piece of debris just offline, coming up to turn number 8, beyond the Canadian Tire walkover bridge on the end of the back straight. It's off to driver's right, and I think enough offline that it's going to be left there for the moment. An hour and 33 minutes still to go, Jeremy, and this one has been an absolute cracker. Misha Goikberg by 0.6 of a second. It'll be pit stops. At the next pit stop, should I say, Goikberg will hand over to Simpson, and Ricky presumably will hand over to Jordan Taylor. Is that the opportunity for the number 10 team to get back in the lead? We know that they are very quick indeed in the pit stops.
Yeah, indeed so. But then it'll be up to Stephen Simpson to try and track him down again. And we've seen that Misha Goikberg can make that pass. So this is going to be an enthralling battle all the way through. We're only... we've got an hour and 33 minutes remaining. So an hour and 15 minutes in the books. We're an hour over half distance. And we'll be expecting the 2nd round of pit stops for the prototype cars it'll be a little while yet, won't it? It'll be another 10, 12 laps, 12, 15 laps.
This is IMSA Radio live from trackside at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, as we are for every IMSA WeatherTech Sportscar Championship race, and for the Continental Tires and most of the support races as well. The only broadcast team with a full squad at every event. 90.7 FM around the circuit here, and scanner frequency 454. That's our season-long place to listen. Trackside. Hello to you on XM 201 and Sirius 145 around the world at IMSA.com and the IMSA app, as well as with IMSA TV. Once again, bringing sound and vision together, perfectly synchronized for those of you in Canada and the rest of the world outside the US.
Ooh, Goikberg held up there by the Ford going through turn 2. He's able to duck around him as number 67 car. That's Richard Westbrook. Moves over to let him through on the inside, open to turn 3. Heads up driving for both of those two.
No change in the lead. Those of you in the US, FS1 is where you can see the pictures and listen to our colleagues at Fox with Brian Till and Justin Bell in the pits here. Excuse me, Jamie Howe. And the team making the race call from Charlotte. So Misha Goldberg has his lead cut to just 0.4 of a second. He's in traffic again, and he's just got to be. The leader has always got a little bit, be a bit circumspect, and Ricky Taylor's right on him. Look outside the window. There's less than a car's length between them as they come out the final corner. Lots of traffic, lots of fast cars in there as well. Charles Barbosa are actually just getting away from the leaders at the moment, and that might not be the worst thing for Misha Goldberg, because he's waking up some of these back markers. They're seeing the blue flag, and that might just help Misha as he comes onto them. The problem is there's so much of this track that is a one-groove circuit, and Misha now diving down the inside of the Lexus number 14. That is Scott Pruitt aboard that car, and he's pulled out just enough of a gap to be able to pick a line past the Ford GT through turn 4. Now in behind the number 50 AMG of Gunnar Jeanette, and he's got the Ford between himself and the chasing Ricky Taylor. Went up to almost a second in traffic there for a moment. Misha Goldberg doing exactly what his teammate Stephen Simpson did at Watkins Glen International a week ago, not risking the car. Jeremy in the keys to the race in our Michelin countdown to green. When we were talking about pushing without risking traffic, says you've got to be decisive in traffic. You've got to make sure that the car you are passing knows you are there and knows where you are going by. And the leader held up again on the exit of turn 1. That's cost him a little bit of pace. It's a 73 Park Place Porsche that has held him up. Jörg Bergmeister there. This is not deliberate from any of these guys. They're running their own race, remember. And with a 1,300 or 1,400 kilo GT car, Jeremy, once you've committed to your line, there's not much you can do there. Meantime, battle for second position in GTLM. Patrick Pilet has got Jonathan Edwards right on his tail through turn number 8. The mid-engined 911 RSR, and Edwards goes to the right-hand side in the final corner. That's going to be tight, but he'll run wide. Pilet does the over and under, side by side. They cross the line, they nearly touch. The Porsche was a millimetre ahead and is still scored in second position. The BMW tries to squeeze down, going at the first corner, but can't get it done. Pilet and Jonathan Edwards having a cracking scrap. Brilliant driving. Well-matched drivers and cars, and here comes Edwards again. Tries to go to driver's left. That's the long way round on the uphill at turn 3. Surely he can't find the grip out there. No, he can't, and drops back. This is second place in GTLM. Alexander Sims and the 25 BMW, 5 seconds further up the road. Well, this Porsche has really found its feet this year, moving the engine forward. That new diffuser sticking out the back, and a new exhaust as well that makes that flat 6 sound even better. Is that possible? Yes, it is. Coming here at trackside, it's awesome. The BMW M6 GTLM in its final year of competition. The M8 already under development and will debut at the Rolex 24 Daytona.
This is a breathless race, isn't it?
I don't know where to look, Jeremy. I don't know where to look.
No, it's magnificent.
Exactly what we want.
What a job he is doing.
A second down, he's pulled out again.
Yep, yeah, he's grateful right now because, that, as you say, Barbosa's just a little bit ahead of him. Well, maybe 10, 12 car lengths. They come into the final corner here, and because of those two battling amongst themselves and being held up a little bit, I think, by number 5 car in general, that has allowed the third place car, which is Scott Sharp, to close 5.7 seconds the gap. That 6.1 seconds as they come across the line. But that gap was out to 12 seconds for a while. That has come down between second and third. But it's intense concentration by, well, everybody at the stage of this race, but it is particularly impressive, I'm going to say it again, for Misha Goldberg, because he is not a professional driver. All these other guys around him are.
Lexus number 15 then in traffic at the moment with a bird's eye view of a pass for the lead. No, sorry, wrong Porsche. Another BMW going past a Porsche, but it's not the Porsche he was looking for. That was the 24 BMW, passing the 54. That's one of the GTLM cars. The 24 in the hands of John Edwards. Alexander Sims, his teammate, leading in the 25 GTLM M6. Pele now has dropped down to 4.5 seconds behind the leader, but has got a 9/10 lead over John Edwards in the 24 car. And the leaders in the race and in the prototype category are together again as Misha Goikberg just loses the back end of the Oreca, catching up again with the number 5, Joao Barbosa, who's just managing to stay on the lead lap into Moss Corner at the far side of the racetrack from us. And Ricky Taylor tries to find a way to get the power on just slightly earlier than the leader ahead of him.
Yeah, he's got a slight advantage on torque coming out of the corners, does the number 10 car, but the number 85 car is very fleet through the corner.
It is, isn't it? The Cadillac with a reduced amount of wing angle mandated by the series from the last race, but I don't think there's been any performance adjustments since the Salem 6 hours of the Glen. So effectively running as we were a week ago. That's good to report. The rest of the prototype category, by the way. Oh, change! No, sorry. That's Joao Barbosa is about to get past side by side, both sides of the Acura, and finally Joao Barbosa goes a lap down, caught a glimpse of a dark prototype in front of Misha Goikberg. I thought he'd just gone past him, and therefore I thought it was Ricky Taylor, but in fact it was Joao Barbosa going a lap back in the number 5 Cadillac, and now Ricky Taylor's got the issue, and pit stops are due for the leaders now, Jeremy.
Yeah, fairly soon, not too long, that's for sure, and we will probably see the Nissan was the first car to come in on the first round. That was after 29 laps. We've now got 62 laps in the books, and those Nissans are still out there, so that was a great opportunity manoeuvre there by Goikberg, because the number 5 car was held up just a little bit by one of the, I think it was one of the Acuras, and he dived around the outside, and Goikberg made sure he left him plenty of room around the outside of turn 3, really heads up driving. Now can he pull away?
Number 5 had a valve core issue.
Ooh, that was unfortunate.
Hearing from our colleagues at Continental Tire, thank you for passing that along. That's why that car had to pit.
Maybe with contact with somebody else. It's
possibly
unusual for okay, well now
Taylor's got through now.
I think probably Barbosa let him go.
Yeah, once you've lost the lap to the leader, there's not much point in fighting that hard with those that come through behind.
Particularly when they're both Cadillacs.
I'm not sure there's, hands of friendship across the ocean between those two teams.
No, but there is mutual respect, and they know what side their bread is buttered on.
Now, the Jimmy Bruni driven 912, remember that's had a right rear tyre issue, had to come for an extra pit stop. Fighting back now with Jimmy Bruni. Still seems odd to see Jimmy Bruni in a Porsche and in the white, black and red overalls. He's got Tommy Milner right ahead of him, and that is the battle for 7th position in GT Le Mans. An hour and 22 minutes to go. Pit stops due from the leaders. Ricky Taylor with his fastest second sector, trying to keep Misha Goikberg honest, who leads the motor race. JDC Miller Motorsport leading, and here comes the start of the prototypes, and again it's the number 22 Nissan Shea Adam, as Shea Adam has this Continental Tire pit lane report.
Johannes Van Overbeek gingerly pulls into the pit box. They are giving new tires to this number 22 ESM car though, but it is now time for Pipo Derani to take his first full season start. He is no longer the 3rd driver. He is up to the 2nd driver. The 31 Whelen Engineering matches the 22 as it did last time. Dane Cameron will be getting fuel and tires, no driver change for that car as Pipo is now installed. This is a guy who had never been to this track before earlier in the week, and he decides to run it to figure out the layout of the course. 2.5 miles and a lot of hills. He was regretting that a little bit later on. Fueling is done. Out goes Pipo, and they should beat out the 31 back out onto the fast lane, as indeed yes, and there's applause from the ESM crew. Good stop by them. They are now expecting the 2 men or Scott Sharp will be handing over to Ryan Dial.
Peels off out of turn number 9 and comes in the pit lane, hits the brakes. Meantime, a cracking scrap going on for the 7th position in GTLM. Still that Corvette of Tommy Milner trying to hold back Jimmy Bruni. Jimmy in an absolute tear through the field since that issue with the right rear. He'll be so annoyed that has happened. Jeremy?
The number 5 car, Joao Barbosa, really slowed up on that last lap. I don't know why. It didn't seem to use all the road coming out of the final corner. Let's keep our eyes on that number 5 car, because he dropped back a long way now from the 2 overall race leaders, having gone that lap down.
Nissan and Mazda pit stop. Shea Adam?
For the 2, Scott Sharp is out, Ryan Dial is in, fuel and tires for that car as well, and the number 70 Mazda comes in. That's the gunmetal gray car, as Ryan Dial does an burnout back out on the pit lane, and the 70 Mazda service is now done. Fuel, tires, and Joel Miller behind the wheel. Again, not a great burnout from these two. We've seen some pretty spectacular ones so far today. The number 55 Mazda will be doing here shortly as well. Jonathan Bomarito getting out, Tristan Nunez getting in.
Oh, this is an absolute cracker, isn't it?
Yep.
Misha Goikberg by 2 seconds now. Remember, the 85 car did not get turned around as quickly as the number 10 in the first set of pit stops. Second set of pit stops are in play now at the front of the field. But the 10 and the 85 were the 2 cars that went the longest, Jeremy, of those prototypes in the first round. 55 comes in out of 3rd position. Shea Adam, Jonathan Bomarito already out of that car with a new set of Continental tyres about to go on it.
They do a staggered stop for the 55 Mazda with the right front going on the same time as the left rear. And you see what I mean? The fueling still going in for that car. Tristan Nunez getting a clean of the windshield as well for that car while they're doing the fueling. Comes off the jacks. Fueling is done. A bit of a delay before Tristan Nunez. That's a better burnout, Tristan. He goes sideways for about 10 feet before finally getting it back under control. We are expecting the 85 in very soon as well. Mechanics are not yet standing on the wall, but they are sitting on their new tires to go on. And Steven Simpson has his helmet on as well.
That's Continental Pit Lane report from Shea Adam live on IMSA Radio around the track at 90.7 FM here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Our full season scanner frequency 454, and on XM 201 and Sirius 145 this weekend. Welcome to you if you are out and about listening in your preferred form of transport around the world at IMSA.com and on the IMSA app. It's IMSA Radio and IMSA.tv together. Sound and vision perfectly synchronized in the last hour and 19 minutes of the Mobil 1 Sportscar Grand Prix, our annual trip north of the border to Canada. And once again, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, 2.5 miles, is giving us much more than that 2.5 miles worth of action and entertainment. The leaders split by traffic into turn 8, and very close call for Misha Goikberg, who stayed aboard, is still aboard rather, the number 85 Steven Simpson. He's in the pit lane.
Both of them.
Both the leaders in, and almost a crash as they break to the pit lane speed limit. Ricky Taylor was millimetres away from the back of the 85 car and made up quite a bit of ground as Misha Goikberg peels off first into his JDC Miller Motorsport pits.
Ricky Taylor rumbles past me on the pit lane. Steven Simpson already over the wall waiting as Misha falls out of the car. He goes flat down on the pit lane and then stands back up. His job is done. He's waiting for his seat insert. 4 tires already changed on that number 85, just waiting on fuel. A little bit further up the pit lane, Jordan Taylor, his helmet disappears behind the wheel of that number 10 Konica Minolta car. They have done 2 of the tires on that car so far. Now the other 2 are going on. The right side tire just finishing. 85 is still getting fuel. The delay on the belts cost them greatly on the 85 as Misha has gotten out Steven Simpson behind the wheel now. He goes past, but the 10 is going to beat them out easily up the pit lane.
And that's fuel flow. That's fuel flow on those cars, or less fuel being taken from the 10, because there was a bit of delay on the belts on the 85 car, but it was done and the door was shut as the fuel probe came out. So the longest stop there for the 85 is on fuel flow. Now, I have to say I haven't looked at the table on that, so I apologise, but I'm sure someone on the collective will. So a shorter stop from the Cadillac team, courtesy of either less fuel going in or the fuel going in at a faster rate on the 6.2 engine car.
Yeah, IMSA works very hard to try and make sure the pit stops are of an equal length between all of the different cars, depending on their fuel consumption, fuel tank size, with the restrictor nozzle size. They work very, very hard on that.
And that's why I said, Jeremy, it's either that or they put less fuel in. And I don't know the question.
Or they got the refueling nozzle in, planted more quickly.
I didn't see the 10-1 going in, but I did the 85, and that didn't seem to have an issue going in. Yep. They were just waiting for that to happen. And it was interesting that they had a problem with the belts on Stephen Simpson going in, but it was actually didn't cost them any real time because the fuel was still going in. And the door was closed at the moment the fuel probe came out. The piece of debris, by the way, that was on the back straight on the right-hand side beyond the Canadian Tire walkover bridge is now on the left-hand side. It's been moved, and it's just on the edge of the circuit on the left-hand side. So Jordan Taylor leads, having taken over the lead of the Mobil 1 Sports Car Grand Prix on the pit stop cycle. Still one more pit stop to go for those cars. They cannot make it to the end from here.
Correct. They will need one more pit stop here. All of the prototype leads will need one more pit stop.
Significant to me as well, Jeremy, that they're pitted on the same lap there as well.
Indeed so. And the number 22 car on that this exchange of pit stops came out behind the 55. So they'd exchanged positions after the first round of pit stops, and they've done the same now the other way around. So the 55 car up into 4th position now. That is the Mazda with Tristan Nunez aboard, and he is going to try and track down Randy. He's just got purple sector 2 for Tristan Nunez. He's on a quick lap here.
Yeah, he's on a very quick lap indeed. Let's recap the other categories before it starts going bonkers at the head of the field again. 109.8 for Tristan Nunez. Let's GTD. Lawson Aschenbach for Stevenson Audi. Now with a 16-second lead from Acura number 86 in the hands of Jeff Siegel. 57 from 86. In 3rd place, the red and white Ferrari, half a second behind. Alessandro Balzan has just lost that position, I think, to Jeff Siegel a couple of laps ago. And Brian Sellers is just another 4 tenths behind. Jeff Siegel knows that Ferrari very well, of course, having been a Ferrari driver not so very long ago. So 57, leading by 16.1 seconds from Jeff Siegel in the Acura, won 3 races for Ferrari last year. 86 then by half a second from 63, by half a second from 48, by 2 tenths of a second to the 93. So second down to 5th. Just on a second between them, and they're coming past us now with the number 5 of Joao Barbosa just going past that battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th in GT Daytona into turn 1 now. Another cracking scrap from the GT cars.
And a new fastest lap of the race. Not by Tristan Nunez, indeed. It is by... Well, it was by I thought it was by Pipo Derani. No, Joel Miller in the car number 70 has just... yeah, no, it was Pipo Derani. Right, 9124, right, exactly, by Pipo Derani. And a good lap also there by Joel Miller and Dane Cameron, both now down into the 9s as they are chasing to make up for, particularly Dane Cameron, Eric Curran really struggled in the first stint in that number 31 car, but Dane Cameron is charging hard. He's now only 3 seconds behind Joel Miller. That gap between those 2 cars was 17 seconds before their last round of pit stops. And number 5 car, by the way, did come out of its pits, still a lap down.
Correct, in 8th position. Absolutely. GTLM, we said GTD. GTLM, Alexander Sims for BMW in the number 1 position in the 25 car, has 2 seconds over Patrick Pilet, who's just been chipping away until that last lap when Alex pulled a 3/10 gap back out on the 911 and Patrick Pilet, the number 911. He's got 2 seconds now on John Edwards in the 24 BMW in 2nd for Rahal Letterman Lanigan. Dirk Muller is 40 seconds further back for the first of the 2 Chip Ganassi racing cars, The 66 has its 67 teammate about 4 seconds in arrears. Antonio Garcia in the number 3 Corvette is half a second further back. Then it's 18.5 seconds back to Tom Milner. And Tommy's got, what, 3/10, 4/10 back to Jimmy Bruni. That battle has been on since Jimmy caught him, but he hasn't been able to get by. So that's the top, that's the 8 positions in GTLM. Haven't mentioned Prototype Challenge for a little while. It is James French in 9th position overall, leading that category by some distance. Has lapped in hand now on the number 20 in 2nd place. It's the 26 James Vance in 3rd position, and he's lapped back as well. And at the head of the field, after the 2nd round of pit stops, Jordan Taylor leads by 2.3 seconds. The number 10 gloss black Cadillac ahead of Stephen Simpson in 2nd, but Stephen has just put in the fastest 3rd sector of the race to pull that back to 2.2 seconds.
Yeah, Stephen Simpson last time around, 1 minute 9.47. On the previous lap, Jordan Taylor set the fastest lap of the number 10 car's race as an identical time, 1 minute 9 point, actually, yeah, 1 minute 9.47.
471 to 474.
Yeah, exactly.
Close enough. Ryan DL, by the way, is in a rather lonely 3rd position in the number 2 Ligier Nissan, the Patron ESM car. He's 13, call it 14 seconds behind Stephen Simpson in 2nd, but he's better part of 3.5 seconds ahead of Tristan Nunez. But Tristan is putting in some very, very good lap times. He's got 4.5 seconds ahead of Pipo Durrani in the 22, who's got 3 seconds ahead of the number 70 Mazda, and another quick lap by Jordan Taylor, 109.4, but 108.9 from Stephen Simpson. New fastest lap of the race as the number 90 car has stopped again. But the battle at the head of the field is extraordinary, exhilarating and captivating. It's down to 1.1 seconds now for Stephen Simpson, who's just taken 6/10 out of the leader in traffic in the 1st sector.
Yeah, new lap record then once again for Stephen Simpson. What a great battle this is at the front of the field. That Orica chassis really does work well. It was a brilliant first hit by Misha Goikberg, and Stephen Simpson now continuing that work. He is generally the quicker of the 2 drivers, as he's shown by just going slightly faster than Misha did in that first stint, and he's going to do the best he possibly can to track down Jordan Taylor.
Now remember, at the start of the race, track temperature was well over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, now down to 96. The ambient has actually gone up a little bit to 72. It was at 69. We've got some thunderheads in the area. They're high, and they're to the west of us at the moment as the 90 car has crawled its way back into pit lane, and Jimmy Bruni is back in the pit lane for a much more standard looking pit stop. Shea Adam.
Fuel and tires only for that number 912, and it was exactly according to plan. The crew had been up on the wall.
Now he can't go to the end from here. 68 minutes, he'll need a splash before the end, but that is a 3rd stop, of course, after that right rear tyre issue for the 912 car. Let's have a quick word with the man of the moment from the first part of the race. Knows this track very well. Misha Goikberg out of the number 85 JDC Miller Motorsports Orica Gibson.
Misha, great job out there. Were you just smiling the whole time, especially when you were leading?
I didn't have time to smile. I was just hanging on and trying to get the car in one piece to my teammate. So it was definitely challenging, but it's very challenging to pass here. So everything comes down to the timing of the traffic. So I think that's what we have to work with going forward here.
Fingers crossed for Stephen, and happy 1st birthday for your kid.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Shea.
Misha Goikberg using his local knowledge to good effect. Now Stephen Simpson has taken the battle back to Cadillac. This is what we were hoping for in this new prototype category from IMSA. Brand new for 2017, remember. This is a formula that is still finding its feet with the open engine regulations for DPI and open aero regs against the spec cars of LMP2. And this is exactly the battle that we'd hoped for. I'll be honest, Jeremy, I didn't think we'd see it this quickly and this closely in the season. The IMSA technical staff, well, chapeau to them. Absolutely brilliant job. This is the kind of racing I thought it would take maybe a season or a season and a half for us to develop.
Yeah, I agree. It's been spellbinding, hasn't it, this race? And the two leaders now absolutely nose to tail as they come across the start-finish line to complete 77 laps and just 66 minutes remaining in this race. And that pits is all going to come down to his final pit stops, perhaps, unless Steven Simpson can use his pace. He's got a slight pace advantage. He can go a little bit quicker over a lap than number 10 car, but finding a way past Jordan Taylor, I tell you what, that's going to be no easy work.
No, not at all. That is going to be a proper old-fashioned gloves off street fight.
It might come down to maybe who can either save the most fuel or have to put the least amount of fuel in at the final pit stop.
It's a very good point, Jeremy, because I think the 10 car came in before it needed to, because I think they had at least a couple of laps and possibly more in the tank. That car has been very fuel efficient.
Yeah, on the well, I don't know, on the first, could be on the first stint, number 10 car ran 34 laps, number 5 car ran 33 laps, so 1 lap less. Second stint around, it was 34 again for the number 10 car and 35 laps for number 85. So
okay,
that would suggest not a lot of difference between them.
Okay, so that was this 85 car going a lap longer rather than the 10 car coming in a lap shorter. Okay, and that's going to make life very, very interesting indeed. Less than 65 minutes to go. Don't even contemplate for a picosecond leaving this one alone. If you need a cup of tea or something a little stronger, send someone to get it for you. Take your eyes off this one for a moment and it'll all kick off again. The leaders in heavy traffic at the far end of the circuit from us through Moss Corners, and they're together again, and again there's a P car ahead of them.
Have you said that earlier on today in heavy traffic?
Oh yeah.
I tell you what, I mean, there's just not a moment to relax during this 2 hours and 40-minute race. It'll be absolutely exhausting. We heard Misha Goiberg, he was clearly pretty tired out. Yes, these cars are quite physical to drive, but also mentally taxing to drive, particularly here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, where there is just not a moment to relax. One of the GTD leaders on pit lane, that is car number 86. And that would be Jeff Siegel pulling out of second position. I think that's allowed Alessandro Balzan to go through. The gap still, Lawson Aschenbach, that Stevenson Motorsports Audi, still about 16 seconds ahead of the battle that was raging for second place between Lally, Sellers and Balzan. Balzan having got past Sellers a little while ago. But that battle continues. Not far behind them is Jerome Mull for Change Racing, number 16 Lamborghini, and then Jens Klingman, number 96 BMW, trying to get himself up into contention as well.
Shea Adam was watching those stops.
Fuel, tires, and a driver change as Jeff Siegel jumps out from behind the wheel of the Acura. Still weird to say Acura for him. And Oz Negri has taken over. Good burnout from the 86. It was number 3 on the side of the car when it pulled into its pit box because Balzan had already overtaken on track. Let's see what Ozzy can go claim back.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4 wide for a moment, and the lead changes. Steven Simpson forces his way through on the inside, and the turn in. I was going to say the braking area, but it barely is. For that, it's a lift, and close your eyes and hold on and hope for the best. Fantastic opportunistic manoeuvre from the South African, and he goes ahead at the completion of lap number 80. The JDC Miller Motorsport car came from a very long way back, but Jordan Taylor was blocked for a moment by the 54 Porsche and one of the Fords, and I think Simpson just dropped the Continental tyre onto the grass there as he went through, throwing up a little bit of dust. There was room, just enough room, but he made it work, and Steven Simpson, who knows about being squeezed, he was tight up to the wall on the restart with the number 5 car at the restart at the Glen, wasn't he, a week or so ago? Well, he knows exactly how wide that Oregon chassis is, and he played that one to perfection.
He did, didn't he? I tell you what, we've got a great battle going on now for third position now, because Randy Yell all of a sudden has lost the gap he had. Well, no, he scratched that. Tristan Nunez has been tracking Ryan Dial, number 2 and number 55. But Pipa Durrani, number 22 car, he's closed right in and on those two as well over the last couple of laps.
GTD leader in the pitch. Adam has this Continental Tire pit lane report.
Fuel and tires for Lawson Aschenbach, the number 57. The Stevenson Audi, that 57 already has a win this weekend, but that came from the sister car in the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. The first two people over to congratulate their teammates that weekend were Lawson and Andrew. So they will be hoping to return the favor this weekend. Fuel's still going on. The tire change is already done. I only see 2 Continentals left on the pit lane. Those would be from the left-hand side because the right-hand side ones have already been returned. Just waiting on the fuel is Lawson very, very patiently. Now he goes. Good stop for the number 57.
Andy Lally pitted with 1 hour and 2 minutes to go in the Acura. I reckon they can probably go from there. It'll be tight at 1 hour, but I think they can go from there. So anyone who stops from now on in a GT Daytona car should be able to get to the end. It's not the case for the leaders. There's still one more stop for the leaders. That second stop was not their last stop. The interest for me, Jeremy, is in GT Le Mans, as once again we get a little bit of jigging and poking. 73 Park Place Porsche with 2 AMGs in very, very close attendance. Jerome Blakemolen and Tristan Vautier are there. And, oh, adding, there's a third one in there as well, actually, which must be laps down. Vautier trying to come back through, but the Park Place Porsche holding sway at the moment. Also in there, the number 14 Lexus of Jack Hawksworth. So a great gaggle of GT Daytona cars there at the moment. Just going back to GTLM for the moment, the interest for me there in pit stops is, have Chevy and the Corvette teams got their sums right in terms of their fuel consumption? Because I think they're hoping to go on just one more stop from here. I'm not sure about the other ones. Shea Adam.
Jeff Siegel, fresh out of the 86. You were working hard out there. Coming to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, it's your first time here in a while. How's the track feel?
Yeah, I mean, last time I was here was in a Continental Challenge GS car. It's a whole different animal in a GT3 car. I mean, it's big commitment. In a GS car, turn 1 is a braking zone, and here you're just lifting a little bit. So it's a lot to hang on to, and the traffic is just crazy. The closing speeds and the interaction between the GT cars and the prototypes, it's mayhem. I cannot believe that we haven't gone full course yellow yet, but car's running well. You know, we'll see what Oz can do with it. I think we're hanging on to rear tires a little bit here, but, you know, 1 hour left and we're in a very good position, so we'll just try and close it out.
Sister car has 2 wins. It's your turn today. Good luck.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we want to win, that's for sure, but podium's been within reach a couple of times and been snatched away in kind of cruel fashion, so we'll just take a good finish. I mean, a win would be fantastic, but a good finish to kind of get our mojo back.
Shea Adam down in the pit lane. Chevy Corvette number 3 in the pits, along with the 67 Chip Ganassi car and John Edwards in the 24 BMW.
And I think they will think now they can get to the end. Correct. From here. They will be able to stretch that fueler, so if there is a full course caution, they have completed their final pit stop of the day. Yeah.
Richard Westbrook, we know, has got pink fluffy bunny ear slippers. Oh, and tied up against the pit wall. 2 AMGs together. Tristan Vautier was the man closest to the wall, and he was being pushed there by the 33 of Jerome Blakemolen. Then they're bashing fenders as they go down towards turn 1, and that was for 5th and 6th position, with Gunnar Jeanette in another AMG GT, the 50 car, right ahead of them. And that was very close indeed again to the solid concrete pit wall.
This is magnificent, isn't it?
Brilliant.
I mean, there's battles absolutely everywhere up and down the field, and we talked a few minutes ago about that battle for 3rd place overall. The number 2 car holding off the 55 and the number 22. Well, Joel Miller, number 70 car, is closing in as well. That gap not so long ago was over 5 seconds. Now only 2 between the number 22 and the number 70. And for some reason, Dane Cameron has been struggling. I don't know whether he had a spin a while ago, because he suddenly lost quite a bit of ground. He was only about 3 seconds behind number 70. All of a sudden, he went out to about a dozen seconds. So I didn't see what happened there. But he is still on the lead lap, and the last car on the lead lap in 7th position for car number 31.
Steven Simpson has stretched the lead to 3.2 seconds. I reckon he needs a little more than that to make up for the difference in the pit stops. The battling AMGs have headed to the pit lane. 75 and 33, both in. Shea Adam with this Continental Tire pit lane report.
For the 33, it will be fuel and tires only. They are leaving Jerome Blake Mullen behind the wheel as expected. The 50 will be coming in this time by. They do that separately lapped because the two cars are team cars and they would get in the way of each other. So Bill Riley puts them on staggered strategy stops. Fuel, the last thing to go into this number 33 with an 8 showing up on the side of the car. As we also have the GTLM leader, the 25 is in for its pit stop, as well as the number 911. Fuel and tires for both of those cars. The 63 Scuderia Cross Ferrari comes in beyond the number 33 AMG GT3, which just now leaves ahead of the 75. Tristan Vautier still behind the wheel. It is fuel and tires for the 63, no driver change. Fuel and tires for the 25, no driver change. And fuel and tires for the 911, no driver change. The 25 has already been lowered off of its air jacks, and now it is a race of waiting. Which car will get the fueling done first, the 25 or the 911? 911 wins out for fueling, but of course they are a little bit further behind on the pit lane. 911 beats out the 25. Patrick Pile should inherit the lead when these fuel stops are done.
Super stops by the Porsche team. Park Place car is in from GTD as well. That was 5th position for Jörg Bergmeister when he came in. Balzan, Alessandro Balzan, comes in the 63. Scuderia Corsa car. No, in fact, he's going back out again, isn't he? Excuse me. He's had his pit stop. What a great turnaround. And the 25 BMW only now going out of the pit lane exit, in from 4th position in GTLM. Tommy Milner in the 4 Chevy Corvette. 15 Lexus is in from GTD, as well as the Park Place Porsche spins its rear Continentals and gets them up to a little more temperature before it leaves the pit lane. Fantastic bit of work in the pit lane by the Porsche GT North America crew.
Meanwhile, Steven Simpson is absolutely flying. He turned a 1:08.92, which is fractions away from his fastest lap of the race on lap 86. He just completed lap 87. That was a 1:09.1. All of a sudden, that gap from first to second is over 5 seconds. There's number 38 amazing car on pit lane. Has he got a punch? Is that
38 is the leader in PC.
He was in not that long ago.
And he has got a left front puncture, I think, Jeremy, as he's coming in. Shea will be able to see it better. Shea, Adam, can you see the red and white black car?
He's coming down the pit lane towards me right now. Paddle Ward behind the wheel. There's a bit of bodywork loose as well. That's a bit of damage. The front left of the car is dragging along the pit lane, and the crew was actually not anticipating him coming in. Now they lower the pit board. He comes to a stop. They've got the fuel probe going in, and the mechanics are immediately running around to try and tear the nose off and put a new nose on. Now, they had a buffer of a couple of laps, but right now their 5-race streak is in danger of ending at 5, not getting to 6.
Shea will keep an eye on that. The car is dishabille in the pit lane with the bodywork out. Hearing from the marshal's posts on the far side of the circuit that raindrops are beginning to fall from Moss Corner and spreading over this way. It's reached the pit lane now as well. I can see people scrambling. Oh, and a big tyre carcass just on the top of the hill. And that's what the 38 car hit. The 38 car hit the tyre carcass at the top of the hill before turn 8. He was weaving his way through traffic and absolutely nailed it with the front of the car. Now, there's been debris there for quite a while, but I don't think it was that piece of debris. That looked a lot newer. And they'll have to put a new front clip on that car. It's going on now. Bad luck for the PC leader, who has lost the lead. The 20 car has gone through, so it's going to be a chase back for Patricio O'Ward and the 38 car.
Desperate luck for that team there. Patricio was, as you say, there was a lot of traffic there. He was on the outside of the racetrack. No problem there, except for that huge tyre carcass in the way. Which car did that come off then? Not
sure, Jeremy. There had been damage over there for a while, but it was on the other side of the track. And then I thought I'd seen from one of the onboards the smaller bit of debris had moved across the track, but it certainly wasn't that big.
And incidentally, if it is rainy, no one has told the race leaders, because the last couple of laps, both of them have been in the 9s, 9.7 this time, 9.2 the previous lap for our race leader, and they are turning a torrid pace out the front here still, with a few spots of rain we can see on our window here, but nothing significant as yet.
Psychological rain, as they say. It's not real rain till it starts to move around on your windshield. That's when you know it's starting to affect grip. Lawson Aschenbach, by the way, has just put his fastest lap of the race in. That also the fastest lap, of course, for the GT Daytona leader, the 57 Stevenson Audi. They've had rotten luck recently as well. His lead now 7.3 seconds.
And we have a 4-car battle for third position overall.
Yeah, and BMW versus Porsche coming in the final corner. There's a little tap from the 28 Allegra Motorsport Porsche on full course yellow with 51 minutes to go. And that must be for the debris on the back straight, I presume. This might just be a get out of jail card.
Well,
for one or two.
It's awful news
for Steven Simpson.
Awful news for Steven Simpson.
Because they can't beat the Cadillac in a straight fight in the pit lane. Oh, no, we've got a car. Have we got a car on fire here? There's steam. And this is the bottom of the hill at turn 2. Driver is out. It's one of the ESM cars. It's one of the ESM cars that's gone off at the bottom of the hill. The smoke on that car. It's Pipo Derani's out the car. The distinctive white and blue helmet. Pipo's fine. He's quit the car, but there's white smoke coming from the car. Pipo steps away from the car, and another good run for the 22 has come to an end. Pipo with hands on hips.
Finally, our first yellow of the day.
After an hour and 50 minutes, Jeremy. And, well, as you say, rough luck. And they can't, and the thing is, the leaders can't even get to the end from here, so they can't pit.
Well, it'll be a lengthy caution. Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
Caution, but it'll certainly be a while yet. And we've got 49 minutes to go. They need about 10 minutes of yellow in order to be able to get to the end from here.
So 55 minutes to go.
Probably will be 10 minutes, so they might be okay.
Well, it'll be 10 minutes by the time they do the pit open, pit closed again. The leaders might have to come in on the end of the pit cycle. And there's your tactics right there. Do you hold your position at the start? Yes, you do. If you're not going to pit until right at the end, you don't come in and then splash it. You wait, because that stops anybody getting a wave bite. Little puff of blue-white smoke from turn 1 to turn 2 from Pipo Derani's car, and then he headed down the hill. And I'm afraid it was all over for the Nismo engine by the look of it. Yeah, classic puff of flame from out of the left-hand exhaust back at the back of that car. Pipo, magnificent work from Pipo to get that car off the circuit very quickly and pulled up. He was out of the car pretty swiftly as well. And there's been a little bit of extinguishant applied to that car, so maybe that was what I saw when I saw the white smoke. But that looks to me like a turbo has gone on that car. Flatbed is there already. Shea Adam will tell us when the pits are open. Steven Simpson has a number of cars between himself and the lead and the second place car. But he had a 7-second lead pretty much, 6.8. And this is going to throw everything against the wall. And it's starting to rain heavier now. So if it wasn't enough to have to make the decision of can you get to the end from the pit stop here from the leading prototypes car is, what tyres do we put on here, Jeremy?
Yeah, that is certainly a tricky one. What tyres you put on? You're certainly
it's pouring down at the back.
Okay,
it's wet tyres.
Yes.
It's wet tyres. And some people are going to have difficulty here getting back to the pits. The pass around has started. And it's absolutely torrential on the Andretti straight, to the point where the guys who are doing the pass around are going to have to be very careful as they go by. They have done. The pit should be open next time by. That tyre carcass has moved to has been knocked off the circuit to the side of the circuit. Not sure why it was being left there for so long, to be honest. And I think the same question will be, it's raining heavy enough in pit lane for people to consider getting the grooved tyres out, and the leaders are in pit lane. Shea Adam will have the number 10. The 85 will be the first one to stop for new Continental wet weather tyres. How long does the rain last? It's a gamble here. It stops on its marks. The guys come over the wall for JDC Miller Motorsports. There's no thought of Stephen Simpson getting out of that car. They're taking their time to make it right as the number 10 comes to a halt. Share.
They have gone for wet tires for the 85 and slicks for the 10. They are not groove tires going on the 10. This could be the race right here for the 31, the Whelen Engineering. They are putting on groove tires, so that is rain tires for the 85 and the 31. We'll have to see how long it lasts. There is already a lot of blue sky around, John, so it would be different radars for different teams.
The 85 driver, Stephen Simpson, gets out ahead. So that's the first thing that's important. He said rain tyres about 3 seconds before he pulled to a stop in the pit lane. That was Stephen's decision. The sun is coming back out again. And Stephen has gone for the Continental wets. They have got track position. Are they on the right tyres? Rain for the 55 car of Tristan Nunes, rain tyres, and slick for the 7-0. Right, that's the Mazdas have split their strategy. The sun is back out, but it's very, very wet on the back of the circuit. And remember, Jeremy, the Cadillacs, and I'm reminded by Marshall Pruitt of Racer.com, thanks MP, that the caddies are running very low downforce as mandated. That will not be nice in slick conditions, in wet conditions, particularly with slick tyres on, is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, that'll be a handful.
Yeah, it will be, particularly on the fast straight when you're braking. Oh dear. It's wet on the back straight. There's enough to see spray coming up.
But now the sun is out.
Now the sun is out and the track is still pretty warm. It dries pretty quickly here. Is there going to be more rain? The direction from which the rain came is very black indeed.
Oh, no, it would have come from behind us. We can't see from where we are.
Well, it came from 5, from the reports on the radio, it came from 5 over to us.
Yeah, but the prevailing wind will bring it from the west, so from our right. Shea could probably get a better view of what it looks like. Although it does seem to switch that around a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, the 70 car and the 10, the only two on slick tyres. Jordan Taylor asking that of the team on the radio on the outlap. He is now right behind the leader, of course. It's wettest at that side of the circuit, but I think the rain, even over there, has stopped now. And
the only one of the prototype cars, well, two prototypes, did not. One of the prototypes did not pit, number 5.
Yeah, gets his lap back.
Because that gets it back on lead lap. So before we go back to green, there will be a pass around. The cars that in each of the classes that are between the safety car and the class leader will be waved past and allowed to take up positions at the back of the field. Then the number 5 car will come in to take its final service. It'll be at the back of the pack, but it will at least be back on the lead lap.
So the ESM car confirmed as engine problems. That car out, Ryan DL in the car. So there were some issues on the radio transmission for the 85 leading car from Stephen Simpson. So there may have been a bit of confusion as to what tyres went on that car. But I tell you what, Porsche 28's just coming in, asked for wet weather tyres. There's steam rising from the back straight now. It's not spray. 73 Park Place Porsches just put wets on. There's a lot of standing water on the back straight, Jeremy. The flatbed is throwing up a lot of spray. And that on slicks, that fast part of the circuit, that is going to be difficult. What I don't know is what it's like in the braking area down the hill to Moss Corner, and how slippery that's going to be on what are now quite cold, brand new slick tyres. First couple of laps for Jordan Taylor are going to be tippy-toe, aren't they?
They are.
And for Joel Miller in the 70 car. Nobody came in from GTLM. Rain tyres ready for those cars. It's the 57 of Lawson Aschenbach, the leader in GT Daytona, who is the first car behind the Cadillac safety car. Into the pit lane comes Joao Barbosa, very gingerly indeed. He's got his lap back, and now he's going to try and do his pit stop before the safety car comes around.
And the number 38 car, having had that problem hitting that massive piece of debris, is still on the lead lap now with the number 20 car of Ryan Lewis. So that's they're mixed up amongst the GTLM cars, but that battle will continue.
Slick Continental tyres going on to Joao Barbosa's car. Blue sky, broken cloud in the distance on the back straight. This is a nightmare, an absolute nightmare.
And that's generally the direction from which the weather comes here.
But here's interesting, the 70 car is going to come back in to take off the slicks they've just put on and put on rain tyres. So they think it is too wet out the back. So this now leaves the number 5, Joao Barbosa, and the number 10, both Cadillacs, as the only ones still on slick tyres. Dane Cameron's just pitted as well in the 31. What's he going to do? We know about the 70 car. They look like rain tyres that are going on. Yes, they are. Shea Adam, what's the Wheel and Engineering caddy doing?
Might just be a splash of fuel, John. No, they are running around the other side of the car. They're changing the tires on the Whelen Corvette. They're putting slicks on that as well. The Cadillac, excuse me, dollar in the jar. They're putting slick tires onto the 31, taking off the rain tires that they put on about 5 minutes ago.
Well,
okay.
I mean, they'd actually made up a couple of positions during the pit stops to put those rain weather tires. Now they're going to lose that again and go back to the back of that little group. So that's disappointing for them. But interesting, the Mazda should choose to go the other way.
Yeah, Mazda's gone the other way.
So we've now got both Mazdas on.
Both Mazdas on wets.
That's curious.
All of the Cadillacs on slicks. The leader on wets, which he's not sure he wants to be on, from what I'm hearing from the radio transmissions.
But certainly, if there is no more rain, slicks are what you want to be on, because it'll dry out pretty quickly.
Yeah. And those wet tyres.
Oh gosh, we're going to have, yeah, the 57. Number 57 car, the GTD leader, is the car directly behind the safety car. So when we go back to green, we're going to have what I don't like is the GTD car leader at the front of the pack, and the race leader's right in the middle of all the traffic.
And we'll be going back to green this time around.
That's going to be really tricky.
First and second are together.
Particularly on a damp track with slicks.
Damp track with slicks for Jordan Taylor coming through this traffic. We've got the GTD leader ahead of the GT Le Mans leader. That's Stevenson Audi from 911 Porsche. Those are the first two cars in the line. Then it's John Edwards, GTLM second. Alex Sims, who was leading GTLM, now in third position. Remember, the GTLM cars are all still on slicks as well, Jeremy. They haven't changed. That's the first four behind the Cadillac safety car, which peels into the pit lane. And now it is Lawson Aschenbach on slick tyres, but on the dry part of the circuit. 85 comes through, and green, green, green. We are off and running. Let's make sure nobody makes no mistakes at the start. And straight away, the 85 of Steven Simpson dives down the inside, tries to put cars between himself and the Cadillac, and does so. The caddy has got the... That must be the 2 of Ryan DL trying to steer from going a lap down, and already it's slippery at the bottom of turn 2, and this is where it's tiptoey. It's tiptoey from the bottom of turn 2 all the way along, and here comes the 55. The 55 of Tristan Nunez is about to go by the Cadillac and does so. Remember, he's on wet weather tyres. The Cadillac is on black, is on the slicks. Ryan DL's gone through into second, so it's now no longer Jordan Taylor in second. It's Steven Simpson from Ryan DL for the Nissan-powered Ligier, then Jordan Taylor. Tristan Nunez, I think, has gone through. Yes, he has. My goodness. And Joao Barbosa, remembers, back on the lead lap at the end of this.
It's going to be a very tricky I would suggest maybe 5 or 6.
10 laps, that's
maybe.
too wet, Jeremy, on the back straight. I didn't realise how far around it was still wet. I thought it was just from Moss Corner to 8, but it's from the bottom of the hill at the bottom of 2 into 3.
Basically half the racetrack.
Yeah, it is half the racetrack. Absolutely right. Your problem is going to be that the other half of the racetrack, for you on wet weather tyres, wears those tyres out. So you might have to stop for a new set of wets if it doesn't dry quick enough.
Exactly. That's why I think I would rather be on slicks right now. It's going to be very, tough it out. We'll see over the next few laps what the lap speed differential is between these two, and whether then the Continental wet weather tyres can hold on in these, for them, difficult conditions.
Changing the GTLM lead, John Edwards has gone from 3rd to 1st. Patrick Peele now 2nd. Alex Sims still in 3rd position. In the 3rd position. No, Alex Sims has gone through. So Patrick Peele falling back in the Porsche. Remember, the GTLM field still on slick tyres. It's 10 seconds back from Peele to Richard Westbrook in the 67 Chip Ganassi racing car. Let's just throw everything up in the air and see where the chips fall, because it's all just been turned on its head. Jordan Taylor now in 4th position, has lost 7 seconds on that first lap to the leader, Stephen Simpson.
And GTD, by the way, that's a dogfight. I mean, everybody is in contention there now.
Yeah, we've got the top 15, I think, back on the lead lap, haven't we? So Lawson Aschenbach by 4 seconds. And again, they are on slick tyres. The 57 Audi leads the Acura number 93. Acura number 93 going for 3 in a row on the dry part of the circuit. Stephen Simpson a 2:04. No, check that time. 1:19 last time around. The Cadillac a 1:23. 75 in the pit lane. Stop plus 60 for Tristan Vautier. He came in while the pits were closed. Oops. Keys to the race. Pit pressure. No penalties. He may have pitted when it was the prototype pit stops, actually, is what I'm hearing. Now it is drying at 2 now. So the dry part of the track is extending back towards the start-finish line. Yeah, it's dry at the bottom of 2 there. The space of a couple of laps, damp through 3, and 1 or 2 people still looking for grip. But the guys on wet weather tyres will be looking for the damp to cool those tyres down, to stop the tread blocks moving along. But on the top of the hill, from 3 to 4, it's still wet enough to see some spray coming off the tyres. Stephen Simpson then. He's still quicker in the first sector than Jordan Taylor, and that's where he's got the least advantage. He was 1.3 seconds quicker there, and he's going to be a couple of seconds quicker. Yeah, 2 seconds quicker in sector 2. He's building up a lead now, and Jordan Taylor is already 14 seconds back on slick tyres. Now you need about 45 seconds here to just change the tyres in the pit lane and get out.
And the number 48 car, Madison Snow, is slipping back a little bit. Lost a couple of positions, I think, on the last lap. And number 57, Lawson Aschenbach, he's got about a 4-second lead over Andy Lally, who is under pressure from Alessandro Balzan and Jeroen Moule.
Stephen Simpson 1:18.8 last time around. Jordan Taylor 1:21.2. The prototypes at the head of the field. Stephen Simpson getting quicker. The other cars on wets are just on the point of slowing down. But remember, Stephen Simpson has worked his way through most of the traffic. So Simpson now has to get that hammer down and see what he can get. I think he's going to have to pit again for dry weather tyres. It's still slippery on the back straight on slick tyres. The number 3 Corvette getting very squirrely. Antonio Garcia has Dirk Muller in the Chip Ganassi Racing 66, and every time he makes a gear change, the back end of the Corvette just moves around a little bit. But it's much, much drier now. It's much drier. Jeremy, you were right. It's going to be 5 laps, and it will be dry.
Yeah, but he's slipped back quite a long way. He's now, what, 11 seconds behind is Jordan Taylor, so that's not insurmountable by any means.
No, well, particularly if Steve Simpson's got to pit again. If he had, now the choice is, do you pit him now and bet on him coming back through the field on a new set of Continental dry tyres, or do you say to him, you've got 32 minutes there, drive it until the tyres fall off it, basically?
Yeah, and
slicks are on the wall for the 85. What would you do? Would you leave him out or would you pit him?
I'd have a good close look at the weather, make sure there wasn't going to be any more rain coming along. Otherwise, I might well make that switch sooner rather than later. I'm pretty sure it's going to be dry at the end of the race. I'll probably come in sooner rather than later in case there's another full course caution.
There is a dry line now. A dry line running down from 4 to 5. And last time around, Stephen Simpson 1:19.0, Jordan Taylor an 18.5, half a second quicker. The track is coming back to the Cadillac. He's in 4th position now, but the gap to the leader is only 7.3 seconds. It's half of what it was recently. 5 seconds has disappeared in the last couple of laps. In fact, in the last lap, a 14.6 from Taylor to a 19 flat. They've got to get Simpson in now. They've got to get Simpson in now. Still a half an hour to go. The decision has been made. And a spin for the 2 car. Ryan Dalziel spins it at the Moss corner at turn 5. So it's still slippery there, but that's about the only part of the circuit that it is still difficult, and Dalziel will be kicking himself. The team are asking Stephen Simpson how the tyres are degrading. Ryan Dalziel coming in and just losing the back end of the number 2 car. Very slow, lazy spin. He was under.
85 car is in
the pit lane.
And the 55.
And the 55 of Tristan Nunes.
That'll put Jordan Taylor back into the lead of this race.
We'll go down to Shea Adam and I'll tell you when the 10 car comes by. Shea?
This will be a stop. They will give them a splash of fuel, but they are doing tires for the 85, the 55, and the 2. Ryan Dalziel makes his way into the pit lane as well. Just a splash of fuel for both of those cars, and the tire change will be the longest part of these pit stops. It is a race for the 2nd place position coming out of the pit lane. It's just 70 comes in as well. Oh, just think if Tom Long could stay on the 85 there, close off the left front, it was reluctant to leave. The 85 beats out the 55 Mazda, which just now leaves its pit box and the number 2. Ryan Dalziel gained a lot of position back during that pit stop, but what coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised the Mazda team would have elected to go to the same strategy, having made the decision to split them at the pit stops. I really don't know why they would have gone back on that.
Well, that's a driver choice.
I guess.
It's a driver choice. It was very wet on the back straight. Ryan Dalziel, says to the team, we ran 1 lap too many. Lost the tyres completely. And that has handed the race to the Cadillacs. Once again, that's it. Game over. Half an hour to go. And the Cadillacs in the Mobil 1 Sportscar Grand Prix have got the advantage, and I can't see this going away for them.
And in the GTLM, by the way, the number 25 car, Alexander Sims, is just doing a magnificent job. He's moved up from 3rd in the class at the restart into the lead, and he's pulling away now from Patrick Pilet. Only by a couple of tenths on that last lap, but he's extended his gap between the BMW and the Porsche to almost 3 seconds. And number 24 car that was leading after the restart, or at the restart, is now another 3 seconds back.
GTLM, BMW lead the 25 of Alexander Sims from Patrick Pilet, 3.2 seconds, and then 4 seconds further back in 3rd, John Edwards in the 24 car. In GTD, Lawson Aschenbach, as it has been for quite a long while now, still with that 3-second lead over Andy Lally in the 93. 57 Audi leading from the 93 Acura, then Ferrari. Alessandro Balzan in the 63 car. The 16 Lamborghini makes it 4 different manufacturers in the top 4, and he's only half a second back from a podium position. 45 seconds the gap between Jordan Taylor and Stephen Simpson. 27 minutes to go. And now for Stephen Simpson, it will just be full attack to see if he can pull back that 4 seconds. Joao Barbosa was a lap off the lead not so very long ago, and now he's in a podium position.
Indeed so, and the Cadillac now is 1, 2, 3 in this race. Having started 1st, 5th and 10th, now 1, 2, 3. Remarkable how quickly things can turn around.
So Jordan Taylor now, last lap a 1:12, a little bit slower. It's still clearly damp out there. Alexander Sims, just to tell you how damp it is, the leader, Jordan Taylor in the Cadillac, a 1:12 flat, a 1:14.9 for Alexander Sims in a GT-LM car on slicks. So only just over 2 seconds slower than the leader. So it is drying out, and the cars that have the mechanical grip, the GT-LM cars, are doing better than the Cadillacs that don't have as much of the aero grip that Dallara chassis needs to get it around the corners.
Yeah, number 25 car, just say his fastest lap of the race actually is continuing to pull away there. Is Alexander Sims looking good here for BMW Team RLL.
Still some black clouds out there, but not coming from the right direction. It's bright sunshine now. The battle at the head of the GTD field seems to be going to the Stevenson Audi. Sitting in behind him at the moment, the number 15 Lexus, which must be a lap down on the field. Yes, it is. Jack Hawksworth is the first car off the lead lap in GTD, sitting in 31st position. Pit caller is the 26 prototype challenge car in 3rd position in that class. GT-LM, when you need a bit of action, just go straight to GT-LM. Tommy Milner has Dirk Muller right ahead of him in the Ford as they go up to Moss Corner. Ahead of them is Tonio Garcia. This is all battle for position, and Richard Westbrook is ahead of Tonio. So 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th are together. Oh, and Tony Bruni's just joined in on that as well. Jimmy Bruni, excuse me. So we have 4th to 8th, line astern, passing the GTD number 16 Lamborghini round the outside into turn 8. Dirk Muller's on the damp stuff there. That's brave. Also coming through there, the 55 Mazda, Tristan Nunez, adding a 3rd category of car to that little scrap. 25 minutes to go. And the lead to the 85 Orica has gone out by a couple of seconds, 47 seconds now. But Steven Simpson has closed in, and he's right behind Joao Barbosa, behind Barbosa. So he's got to get past Barbosa to get onto the podium, and then there's 25 seconds between him and the 31 Cadillac. Now, we had a great battle between the 5 and the 85 at the Sale and 6 Hours of the Glen a week ago, and it's back on again.
And it must have been a relatively slow pit stop, I think, for the number 70 car, because that is now a lap off the lead in the prototype ranks.
Andy Lally has just done the number 93 Acura's fastest lap of the race with a 17.7, but he's 5 seconds at the moment away from that 3rd win in succession. Looking for that hat trick. Lally and Catherine Legg. Andy Lally on the anchor, trying to close down Lawson Aschenbach in the 57 Stevenson Audi. Sandro Balzan has just got himself a little bit of a breathing space from Jerome Mull, now up to nearly 2 seconds.
Big battle for what, 4th position in GT-LM. The first 3 kind of equally distanced, about 4 seconds apart, with Alexander Sims still stretching that lead just a little bit over Patrick Pilet in the Porsche. John Edwards running in 3rd position, similar distance behind. A bit of a gap back to Richard Westbrook, who's had a couple of seconds last time around over number 3 car.
Jordan Taylor's back in the groove, Jeremy. 1:10.4 for that car. 1:11.9 for Dane Cameron. And the gap between 1st and 2nd, well, that's over as a contest. That's 23 seconds. And then there's another 24 seconds between 2nd and 3rd. The battle is for 3rd position, with Steven Simpson now held up behind Joao Barbosa. His last lap of 1:12.1. And this is really frustrating, having had a real chance of the race here before the rain shower, and picking the wrong tyres, communications issues for the 85 JDC Miller Motorsport team as Stephen came into the pits.
And we've had a change of lead, by the way, in PC. Patricia Award has moved back ahead because the number
26 car. Oh, no, 20
car. Yeah, 20 car made a pit stop a few laps ago.
Now the battle in GT Le Mans, that cracking scrap, is coming up behind Alessandro Balzan, who's third in the 63 Ferrari, third in GT Daytona rather. And there's a pass as the Ford versus Chevy battle gets... Oh, there's a touch and an off. This is a huge off going down turn 4. And it's the leader, it's the race leader involved there, trying to go 4 wide as the Ford and the Corvette were battling. And Ricky Taylor gets involved in that. Jordan Taylor gets involved with that. He's moving again. The Corvette's right front is destroyed. And that was all happening on the slightly damp part of the circuit, still underneath the Chevrolet bridge. The number 4 Corvette, Tom Milner, trying to go by the Ford, and I think had it done, right front ripped asunder from that car and has made heavy contact with the right-hand side wall. The tyre wall doing its job, but that car is going nowhere. And now Jordan Taylor with damage. How much damage? It was big contact and he did hit the wall. The Corvette was airborne for a while. So the race
is still leading.
20 minutes to, well, yeah, he had 24 seconds. He's only just leading.
Yeah.
Left rear damage to the 10 car. He's gone through, missing the pod. If that's all he's got away with, he's a very lucky lad. Rear toe on the left side is out of kilter on that car. Oh yeah, they've got damage. The rear wings loose as well.
Around, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to have to come in. The rear clip. Tommy Milner is out of the car. He's been seen by the first responders. He said, yes, I'm fine. So we had a PC car, a GTD car, and then 3 wide behind as... Well, that's extraordinary. Jordan Taylor was nearly past them and then seemed to either lock up or spin up the rear wheels.
No, he was around the outside, but he wasn't clear of the number 10 car as he tried to turn into the corner. There's a lot of marbles on the outside of there.
Agreed, Jeremy.
Turn 4.
Do you think that was just a touch?
Well, let's have a look here.
Fair play from Tom Milner. He got through. He was past the Ford. Then from the right-hand side, either the Corvette ran wide or Jordan Taylor pinched down, and I really can't say which it was there, Jeremy.
I agree.
Very definition of a racing accident. 3 wide there, though, with a 24-second lead.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you've got so much speed coming down there. You've got much bigger acceleration than the Corvette coming down that hill. But the problem is there's a whole bunch of other cars in there as well.
Well, this race, again, is thrown upside down.
18 minutes remaining.
Now, short yellow, pits will not open, is what we're being told.
Yeah, inside the final half an hour of the race.
The 10 car with new bodywork ready for it. It needs a new rear clip and a new rear wing and query damage to left rear suspension. My goodness, they've been lucky if they've got away with that. You know, I think they might have.
Who?
The 10 car.
Well, that rear wing, you can't leave.
No, the left rear suspension, Jeremy. If they've got away with that, they build those cars tough to Labra. That's extraordinary.
Oops. He's weaving around there. He almost took out.
He's got a problem.
He almost took out.
Something's bent, he says. He almost took out the cars that were being waved by. Might get a stop and go for that. Might get a stop and go for that. Not supposed to weave around behind the safety car while the pass around is going on.
Yeah, and the number 70 car, by the way, is back on the lead lap.
Always assumes he was intentionally waving around if something's wobbling.
Yeah.
Yes, something is wobbling, and it's wobbling more on that left rear.
Oh, I tell you what, when that car comes into the pits, number 31 car will lead, having been, well, struggling all weekend long. How remarkable is that? And then Joao Barbosa is running third at the moment. Then Steven Simpson with the fastest car on the track in car number 85.
So here's the question. That tyre wall needs repairing. And I know we haven't long since had the back to green, and we're seeing it's a quicker yellow, but there's 16 minutes left. How quick can that be done? We still haven't got the car moved yet. So right now, you leave him out.
Well,
you leave him out in the lead.
Indeed so.
Because he's going to lose the race as soon as he pits.
Of course, you're right.
So leave him out and hope that the race doesn't go back to green.
Yep.
Because he's not going to go in till he open the pits anyway. And if they're not opening the pits, then he comes in, he gets to have a drive-through. So you leave him out.
Absolutely.
You leave him out and hope the race doesn't restart. We talked about a 2-hour 40-minute sprint race with strategy. We didn't necessarily expect the strategy to have to come in yellow flag periods. And that's exactly what's happened both times. Which tyres, and now with a damaged car. This could be the most damaged car we've ever seen win a race. This is Audi-esque, isn't it? 15.5 minutes to go. The Corvette, or the remnants of it, 3/4 of a Corvette, going on to the back of that car. Tom Milner, by the way, has walked away from that. A very scary looking accident. High speed, high impact, and off the ground for that car. They build them tough at Pratt & Miller. And the best thing we've seen is Tommy Milner walking away from that car and saying quite clearly to the first responders, yep, I'm absolutely fine. I don't even think he was helped out the car. He opened the driver's door and walked away. There is no right front suspension on that car at all. There is no right front wing. There is no right front anything on that number 4 Corvette. Not that long ago that was just concrete and a bridge abutment down there.
Yeah.
And that's what we were saying earlier on about this car, this racing circuit still having the character of the old one but having been updated. Now, our brilliant Bobcat driver is down there rearranging the tyres. He's got 14.5 minutes to get this sorted. Ricky Taylor is going to, next time around, get right to the pit wall so that they can lean over and have a look at it. Sorry, Jordan Taylor. I keep putting Ricky in that car. Sorry, guys. Jordan Taylor. Well, Ricky Taylor will be up on the wall if I know anything about that team. For sale, one used Corvette, only raced on Sundays. Slightly used. Pre-loved, I think, is the word for that.
Yeah, it's had a lot of love over the
onboard camera still working on the Corvette. Very good. Now, this brings back into play, of course, Jeremy, both of the remaining Cadillacs, the undamaged ones, and Steven Simpson, having been 47 seconds down.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And Simpson is directly behind Barbosa, I think, on the racetrack. There's a few cars between Barbosa and Cameron, who is directly, of course, right now behind Jordan Taylor. So if it stays yellow, that's the situation. If it goes green, that is going to become critical.
It's a team sport, isn't it, Jeremy? And we've said that before. And the chat that's going backwards and forwards between the number 10 driver, Jordan Taylor, and the Konica Minolta team is amazing. So here's what we've learned. If the pit's open, or if it goes back green, we've been told the pits won't open under the yellow. So if the pit's open, or if it goes back green, possibly the latter, probably the latter, should I say, the 10 car will come in at the first opportunity. They will take off the broken tailpiece, have a look at the toe. If the toe link is broken or the suspension damaged, they'll fix it. If it isn't, there's a new tailpiece ready to go on, and they will send him.
Yeah.
Shea Adam has leaned over the wall as best she can. Shea, what can you tell us?
I'm pretty sure it's just a broken tailpiece. The clip on the right-hand side is loose. You can see where it was once attached. There is no remainder, no hint of a remainder even on the left-hand side. But I think it might just be that tailpiece. They might have gotten lucky.
Okay, so it's a new tail and rear wing. The Bobcat driver has done a great job in getting. He's going to be a candidate for the Spirit of the Race award, that Bobcat driver, this weekend. Start your voting for that now, by the way. Michelin post-race tech coming up at the end of the race on IMSA Radio. Your votes, please, for Spirit of the Race, and your questions, please.
So there's 3 GTLM cars between Dane Cameron and Joao Barbosa, and then Stephen Simpson directly behind him if and when we get back to green.
Hashtag Michelin PRT at IMSA Radio for your questions, points arising or observations. Lots to talk about here. And hashtag CTMP SOTR for your Spirit of the Race award. That Bobcat will have its own Twitter feed by the end of this, I'm almost certain. All right. 11 minutes. Oh, he's letting the field go by here. Ricky Taylor, he's getting ready to pull into the pit lane. The lights are out on the Corvette car.
They can't pass him because we're still under yellow, so nobody can go past him.
Correct.
But at least he's signalled his intention, staying right over to the right-hand side of the racetrack. So when it does go, safety car does pull it off, he will be out of the way of everybody else.
Bits of carbon coming off the back of that car. And Jordan Taylor will head into the pit lane from the lead, and then it's game on. There are 3 GT cars between the new... Oh, he hasn't come in. He hasn't. He's thrown everybody a dummy because the pits are still closed, I presume, until we go green. So now we're green, and there's a pass before the line. Now, is that going to be all right for Dane Cameron? He did go past before the line on the restart. And the 85 car, Stephen Simpson, right round the outside of Joao Barbosa. He's had a little look, but he's had to drop in behind as they go over the top of the skyline. So Dane Cameron leads from Barbosa in second and Stephen Simpson in third, with
Simpson's going to try and go around the outside.
Oh, he's been hit.
He's been hit.
Yeah, Barbosa's hit him, but he's saved
done it again.
Barbosa holds onto it, Jeremy, somehow on the inside. But he didn't give racing room there, drifted away from the inside for my money.
That's 2 races in a row. Barbosa's been really on the very limit, the very limit of within the regulations.
And it was with Stephen Simpson both times,
he knew he was overtaken there, and he just drove into the side of Stephen Simpson. I'm sorry, I'll have to look at that again. I don't think I'm going to change my mind on that one.
It looked as though he was moving out from the apex of the corner for sure. Dane Cameron has a 3-second lead over Steve Simpson, and Ryan DL up into third for ESM Tequila Patron. Jordan Taylor, remember, touring back to the pit lane to get that damage assessed, as in comes one of the Porsches. One of the GT Porsches is in. It's the better placed one. Second place, Patrick Pele is in. Oh my goodness. More drama. In comes the number 10, Shea Adam, with the 911.
It pulls to a stop. The headlights go off. They're putting fuel into the car, and they've just put the air jack in. The car is now sitting up elevated while they are fueling, but there are no tires over the wall. And John, a drop of rain just hit me on the face. Jordan Taylor is coming down the pit lane, which has just gotten very, very dark indeed. Can't tell what's going on with the 911, but the driver's door has just opened. I think Patrick Pele is getting out of this car. The number 10 hits its marks, goes up on the air jack. The crew immediately begins ripping the old piece off the tail section that they have on the car. They're not doing any suspension work on the car. John is able to tell me that as I look back down for the 911. The driver door is open. Patrick Pele gets out. That car's day is done. They are pulling the engine cover area off, trying to get the bodywork removed, the panel from the deck. Now they've got the deck off. Now they can get the 10's tail off, put the new one on as the leader comes by. That's one lap down for the number 10 of Jordan Taylor. 85 goes by as well, and the number 2 of Ryan Dial. Now he's down to 4th behind the Mazda. And the GTLM field starts to come through. They have the new tail section ready. They are just lining it up. And they're doing a new engine cover as well on this car. It now shows a number 7 on the side of it, John, as they secure the new tailpiece into place. Well, we were told at the Glen that at some point they were going to start thinking about this championship and points. That's what we are seeing right now as the rain starts to fall heavier on the pit lane. John, could there be one more turn in this race?
The race leader, Dane Cameron, just turned his best lap of the race. The third place car of Ryan Dial just turned his best lap of the race. That was naughty.
Charles Barbosa in behind the 911 Porsche, which I think was having a problem, but he's got a car alongside him, Jeremy. You can't just pull out like that. The 10 is down and away, and give Stephen Simpson his due. He gave about as much room as he could.
Absolutely.
And Ryan Dial used the kerfuffle in front of him to go past Tristan Nunez and take over what is now 3rd position, and DL's just put a 1:08.994 in, and the fastest centre section of the race.
And Dane Cameron has turned his best lap again for the 2nd lap in a row. 109.598 for Dane Cameron in car number 31.
And it's raining again, to quote Supertramp, but we've only got 6 minutes left. And just throw everything at it now. Dane Cameron, 2.4 seconds is the lead. So a little bit of time made up, about half a second made up last time by Stephen Simpson. He's got to get those Continental tyres up to pressure and to operating temperature. We know that 85 car is quick. The 31 car has not been the quickest car this weekend, but that's not what happens in endurance racing. And half an hour to go, I was convinced it was all over. And, problems for the 10 car. I still don't think the back end of that car is doing what Jordan Taylor wants it to do. He's trying to stay out of the way of the top 3, who put them another lap down. They did not do any suspension work on that car. So he is touring around for what will be 7th position. I don't think he's going to lose 2 laps to the 52 car. So he'll get 7th position points, but that puts the championship lead, if not in jeopardy, certainly, once again, it's going to close everything up. It's all happening in the last 5 minutes.
Isn't it just? Dane Cameron again for a 3rd consecutive lap, his best lap of the race.
It's getting heavier rain. GTLM, Sims, Edwards and Westbrook. Ford again on the podium at the expense of Porsche. 2 BMWs, 1-2. GTD, 5.8 seconds between Aschenbach and Andy Lally. Audi from Acura, and Balzan's close right into the back of Lally for Ferrari. Championship leader on the podium again. What a consistent season they've had. The 63 car's not won a race, but I don't think it's been off the podium for the last 3 or 4. And then it's Jens Klingmann further back in 4th position. 5 in a row. Yeah. Big ploppy rain, large raindrops, and they hurt, I'm hearing from the pit lane. 93, Andy Lally, 2nd place in GTD at Moss Corner, turn 5. Has the Alessandro Balzan driven championship leader in GT Daytona. Right behind him now, a little bit further back, Jens Klingmann, round about a 2nd and 3/4. The engine has gone on the 911. 2nd time that's happened this season for Patrick Pilet. Went up in a spectacular way at Silverstone, and it's teaming down on the back straight. It's teaming down. It's coming down like steroids. 3.5 minutes to go. This is unbelievable. Drama, excitement, entertainment, and now the weather playing its part. And it's tiptoe through the raindrops, not the tulips here. This is not all over.
Whoa, it's heavy raining. Dane Cameron struggling on that car.
He can't get it to turn in at turn 10.
He did, but man.
2 seconds between 1st and 2nd. 2 laps to go at the end of this one, I reckon. The leaders are still lapping in under 72 seconds,
remarkable.
Jeremy.
I mean, that was This is the definition of on-the-limit driving.
4th, 5th and 6th for GT11 together. Garcia in the Corvette, the Ford of Muller, and Jimmy Bruni in the 912.
Fantastic stuff.
This is a championship battle for the Corvette number 3 in the 66 Ford. Round the turn 8, they come. Jimmy Bruni, the spoiler there. And Jimmy will want a bit of redemption after losing a nailed-on podium a week ago with a left front tyre that went down on him. Well, well, what an absolutely cracking race. Lots of green flag at the start. Great racing at the head of the field between the Oregon.
54 car down the inside of the 28 there. Dive bomb move at last corner. Is that even for position? Yeah, it was actually.
Yeah.
For 14th position in the class.
And 1, 2, 3, 4 wide, and the leader's in there, picking his way through. Dane Cameron, he's not held up at all, and now puts 4 GT cars all battling between himself and Simpson. Simpson's got to be careful here, Jeremy. He's got 2nd position in the bag. He's trying to go around the inside, the outside, over the top or underneath. He tries each and every way. White flag next time by for the leader. The problem is the GT cars, of course, have got a little bit more mechanical grip in the slower corners, Jeremy, and it's teaming down the rain. It's throwing it down at Moss Corner. Pouring on pit lane as well. Dane Cameron has edged away and off. Car off into the tyres. The pits are closed. This is the last but one corner. Who's hit the wall? They're going slowly, and it's, oh, this will be a red flag. 52 is on its roof. 52 is on its roof, and that car's hit hard twice. The race is over. Cameron wins for Cadillac. Steven Simpson will be second.
Well, he's got to get around the next lap. Where is he on the racetrack?
Well, yes, absolutely. The race will count down to 0. It will be double yellows and checker next time around. And the 52 car, Ostella is the driver. He's talking on the radio. That's the good news that I can bring you. And once again, the intervention team's there very, very quickly. The door is open. And it will be white flag.
Yep.
Because the time has not counted down. So just going through, Dane Cameron has to keep it on the island in the wet weather. But he's not under any pressure now because he's behind the Cadillac safety car.
Yeah, and he's got a whole cushion of cars between them as well.
So 25, leader in GTLM, went off watching the crash of the 52 car. David Estella, who managed to park it beautifully on its roof behind a tyre bundle so we couldn't see where it had gone. Just slid off on the wet onto the grass and onto the roof of the Ligier. Once again, the Bobcat is on the scene to put the tyres right, but the last lap board is out. David Estella is out of the car, hands on hips, not a scratch even on his helmet. He's talking to the docks. Nasty looking, but absolutely amazing, the integrity of these carbon fibre tubbed LMP cars.
That's a shame for the local driver, David Ostella, making his first start with this team in a full-blown prototype. He's driven from before in PC, and had success. He won at Sebring for PR1 Matheson Motorsports. He
just lost it, got onto the grass, and at that point, Jeremy, as he comes through out of 8 into 9, hits at about a 45-degree angle and just flips the car onto its roof. Did that with a Jaguar XJ6 4-litre Sport once. Exactly the same. Parked it perfectly, facing the wrong direction, but on its roof.
That's
David
shame,
Estella,
obviously, for David and that PR1 Matheson Motorsports team that worked so hard. And in GTD, I was just watching the progress of Sage Karam in that car number 14, who made up several positions since the previous restart.
Just to tidy up the previous yellow flag, Jeremy, the good news is Tommy Milner evaluated and released from the track medical centre. Evidence of a safe and strong Corvette. Thought he was but that is the official word. Let's start with GT Daytona, Jeremy. A double for John Stevenson's team. He's not here this weekend. They took their maiden victory in GT4 yesterday. They'll take GTD for the Audi here. BMW, their maiden victory for Audi as well this weekend. Alexander Sims for BMW, the 25 car, and at the front of the field, the Cadillac streak continues at the Mobile One Sportscar Grand Prix with the 31 Whelen engineering car, meaning all three of the Cadillacs have now taken a victory this year in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Steven Simpson, another second place for JDC Miller Motorsport, ahead of a podium for the Tequila Patron ESM team. Patricio O'Ward continues the winning streak for the 38. That looked in doubt, and it's 1-2 for BMW. Alexander Sims and John Edwards, 25 from 24. Ford onto the podium again after being really not there on pace. But once again, it's Richard Westbrook who pedals his way to a podium in the dying minutes. That was 2 hours and 40 minutes of non-stop action. The 57 coming across the line now. It is a double for Matt Bell and Lawson Aschenbach. They take their first victory for Audi this year, the 57 car, and the delightful double for Stevenson, having won in GT4, the GS class, yesterday in Continental Tyres. I'm not sure I can think of another team that's done that. Let me know if you think otherwise. At Michelin PRT, hashtag Michelin PRT at IMSA Radio for post-race tech, and CTMP SOTR. That's the hashtag for spirit of the race. Shea Adam down in a damp pit lane.
Down here in the BMW celebration area, I don't think Bill Oberlin breathed for the last little bit of that race. And for somebody who's got that logo tattooed on his heart, it's got to mean even more to have not only 2 wins back-to-back, dude, but now a 1-2 for BMW, and you're right in this championship thing.
I told you, we're coming. We're clawing our way back every race now. I mean, so you come off Coda second, Watkins Glen a first, and now a first. It's amazing. Never count Team RLL and this BMW out. This M6 has found some new life in it, and it is performing amazing.
And what does it mean to get these 2 wins back-to-back, knowing that your next one is BMW's home race, Lime Rock?
Yeah, well, hey, whenever you get these wins are so difficult. I mean, imagine the driver lineup in all these cars. It's the best in the entire world. I'm honored to be a part of it with them. And then anytime you can get a win and get a leg up on any one of these guys, they're so awesome. It's a great day.
Congrats, Bill.
Thanks.
The checkered flag is in the hand of Dave Cameron in the pit lane. He'll never be more pleased to see a pit lane at the end of the race. Extraordinary end to the race. See if we can grab some more of the winners before we stand shade down, as Jeremy Shaw and I are getting ready to rub ourselves down with a cloth filled with warm halibut oil. Honestly, I have no clue what went on in the end of that race. The 31 car coming round to victory lane. Shea Adam is picking off some more of our winners' interviews for us live from trackside here on IMSA Radio.
Eric Curran, do you have any idea what the heck just happened? I think you won.
I have no idea what just happened, but hey, we haven't had the best of luck this year, but that was luck on our side, and it all panned out. So I'll take it any way we can get it. Whelen Cadillac was not the best car here today, but the way it all worked out, the rain and the strategy and all that, we'll take it.
Good job, Eric.
Yeah, good stuff. Michelin post-race tech to come. Hashtag Michelin PRT at IMSA Radio for your thoughts on this one. We may have to take some time to go through all of this. And hashtag CTMP SOTR for spirit of the race. Your nominations, please. I'm going for the Bobcat driver. I think he was great this weekend. So, another win for Cadillac, and all 3 Cadillacs have won now this year, as Shea Adam is hustling up to grab our GT Daytona victory party from Stevenson Audi. sun is out down by the podium now, and Andrew Davis is in Shea's sights.
Andrew Davis, wow, I mean, what a weekend for Stevenson. Doesn't get any better than this, and you finally got a win with the 4 rings on. Did you ever think it was going to come here?
Oh, no, you know, we've had success here before, but just what a feeling. It's been a while since we've been in victory lane, and just so proud of the team. And, you know, we lost a team member recently, Dexter Johnson, who was very important to us, so this race is for him. And, just such a great job. The Stevenson Motorsports crew is great. The Audi ran great. Lawson did a great job in mixed conditions. Just so happy.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So that's 3 of our 4 winners. The 38 team have continued their winning streak. Patricio O'Ward on his way down to the podium now. Shea Adam is down there. We'll grab a word with him in just a second before we hand the PA back to the formalities. Remember, we continue on IMSA Radio thanks to XM201 Sirius 145. You picked a good day to be with us again. Lime Rock Park coming up in a couple of weeks' time, and we'll be back with XM Sirius as well as IMSA.com, the IMSA app, and IMSA TV and radio together for the race itself. Shea, just jump in when you get Patricio, if you can, from the 38, while Jeremy tells us about the points positions.
Where do you want to start?
What have you got done?
Well, I've got them all done.
Right, go on. Let's start at the top of the shop then, in prototype.
Right, in prototype now.
Right, hang on a second. Let's go down for an interview. I knew that would happen. Go on, Shea.
James French, another win. That one was pretty entertaining, though. Tell us about it from your point of view.
Yeah, that was a lot more entertaining than we anticipated from our perspective. With the weather and crazy start, it was, yeah, exciting race.
Perfect record this year. Congrats.
Yeah, so far so good. Thank you.
Shea Adam done fine work this afternoon for us down in the pit lane as our Continental Tire pit lane reporter. We'll stand her down now and we'll bring to an end our broadcast. We continue on IMSA Radio via the IMSA app, IMSA.com and RadioLeMans.com. We'll go to Michelin post-race tech. We'll give you the points positions and we'll start taking some of your questions. Hashtag Michelin PRT. And for your nominations for the Spirit of the Race, CTMP SOTR. A reminder that Jeremy, Shea and myself, John Hindhaugh, back in a couple of weeks' time. Full coverage from Lime Rock Park, Continental Tire and the IMSA Championship Series. Much of that in sound and vision for you as well, with IMSA TV and IMSA Radio together. A quick final thank you from me for the Marshall's recovery crew and everyone else here. Miles Brandt and Ron Fellows and the rest of the team at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.